button. They want to let you know how exciting it is that you're going live.
I mean, welcome. It's showbiz, baby. That's how it goes.
Lights, camera, actione.
Well, I appreciate it, people at Zoom, for really amping up my button pushing experience.
We owe a lot to Zoom. Most of us didn't even know what Zoom was a year ago at this time.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Scripts Gone Wild, whose Twitter account is not blocked, unlike Donald Trump's. I'm your host, Billy Ray Bruton, and before we get started tonight, I want to take a moment to address the elephant in the room of the day, and then we'll get to all the drinking and the nonsense. So 2020 was a clusterfuck. It was a nightmare year. There were so many crazy things that happened, some really inspiring, some not so much. Back during the George Floyd protests, we canceled one of our reads because we wanted to be respectful of the folks who were out there marching. And then later that year, on election night, we canceled our read that night because we wanted to be respectful of all the turmoil that was happening and of the democratic process. Today was insane. And we did for a moment think about canceling the read, but I honestly don't want to show any respect to what happened today and the people who committed the things that happened today, which was criminal, insurrectionist, disgusting. So I felt like canceling this read tonight would have been adding even the smallest amount of respect to what happened. And I didn't want to do that. So we didn't cancel the read tonight. If you're watching us right now, I appreciate you doing it. Hopefully we will take your mind off the events of the day for a couple hours. If you stumble on this, like a lot of you will in a few days, awesome. We always love it when you come upon us, even if it's a few days after. We're super excited that you're going to check us out then. Maybe the distaste from today will have started to wane a little bit when you come across us then. But thanks to all of our amazing readers for being here and everybody for watching under these ridiculous, unnecessary circumstances. And yeah, so that's the only spiel I'm going to do. And now we're going to dive into the fun.
Woo! Hey.
Tonight we are reading one of my favorite films from the 90s, a film that I enjoyed very much in high school, Robert Rodriguez's The Faculty, or as we know it from the script that we all have, The Feelers, because that seemed to be, I guess, an appropriate enough name when he was writing this. And then someone at the studio was like, maybe not. We are raising money tonight for an amazing organization called the Education Trust, which works to close opportunity gaps that disproportionately affect students of color and students from low-income families. And they're doing amazing work out there. And if you want to donate to the Education Trust anytime tonight, we really encourage you to do so. You can go to our website, scriptsgonewild.com. You can click on the donate tab. It's going to take you directly to their portal. You can make a donation, whether it's $1, $5, $50, $1,000, whatever you feel like giving. We encourage you to do that. Please support them now. We'll mention it again in the middle of the read and at the end of the read. And again, if you stumble upon this read in a week or 2 weeks and you like what you see, please still make a donation. If it has an area for you to say who you're making the donation for, just put Scripts Gone Wild. And we very much appreciate it. I know they very much appreciate it. And now I'm going to introduce our readers for the evening. We have Mr. Mark Lawson.
Hello.
Clarke Wolfe. Danny Plotner.
Hello.
Chad Addison. Now, I'm going to get this last name right. Geri Courtney-Austein.
Austein, you did it. Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Michael Varrati. Kenzo Lee.
Woo.
Devaughn Taylor.
Woo.
Joni Matt. Tristan Cunningham. Keller. And our resident queen of champagne, Natalie Nicole Dressel.
Yeah. Woo.
It's a fine day for champagne, I think.
Dab the champagne, Nat?
That's right. Before we get started, I have a quick question. But who all has seen The Faculty? Raise your hands.
I have now.
Okay, so everybody has seen it. Who all had seen it before you found out you were doing this read? Okay. Well, that's not bad. That's not bad.
I'm
So
a
now,
big Jon Stewart fan.
The child of the 90s.
that's right. So now everybody, when I count to 3, everybody at once, describe your feelings on the movie in one word. 1, 2, 3.
Awesome.
Tommy Hilfiger.
What I heard was Tommy Hilfiger.
Yeah.
Which seems very appropriate. Yes, this is a very Tommy Hilfiger heavy movie. I can't think of another one offhand that would rival it, frankly.
One word. Tommy Hilfiger.
It might as well be.
You got it, Natalie.
Movie is so Tommy Hilfiger.
For those of you at home who don't know how this works, Scripts Gone Wild is a drinking game. Anytime one of our readers flubs a line, misses a cue, does anything that we can construe as a mistake, they have to take a drink as their own personal punishment. Our audiences on Twitter choose what we call social words, and these are words that whenever they are read aloud by our readers, everybody takes a drink. And it doesn't count when I read the stage direction. It only counts when they read it in the dialogue. And those words tonight are 3 in total, and they are aliens, school, and any incarnation of the word fuck. So that's fuck, fucking, fucker, motherfucker.
Oh my God.
Fuckalicious, supercalifragilistic, fuckbealidocious. Whatever it's got the word fuck in it, it's a drink word. We have a finish your drink line, which is chosen by our Patreon subscribers. And this is a line that when we get to it in the script, everybody finishes whatever drink is in their hands, whether it's a couple of sips or a fresh pour. And that line tonight is, and all this time, I thought the only alien was me. Profound and deep. And we also have something new for this read, which was proposed by our very own Clay Keller, and I think is a delightful idea going forward, which is that anytime someone takes a drink in the script, so this does count with stage direction. If I read about someone taking a drink, whether it's a drink of alcohol or a drink of water, you will drink.
It's fitting. It's fitting that we're doing the faculty since this teacher's pet is like, teacher, you forgot to give us more drinking homework.
I guess we're drinking. Billy Ray, I proposed this thinking it would hardly ever come up and it would just kind of seems appropriate and it'd be fun. And then I'm looking at the script and there's one in the first scene.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's a day worth forgetting. So let's drink to forget.
Here.
Those are the rules. I'm going to be reading the stage direction. I will fly through it like a bat out of hell. You'll hear me do my best Micro Machine Man. And does anyone have any questions? Any of our first timers or any of our old guard have any questions about the read or anything?
Is it aliens or alien for one of the words?
It's aliens, plural.
Okay.
Oh.
Plural. I'm not going to make you do the singular since we're doing so many fucks.
Got it.
We're fucking so much. We might as well not do the singular.
So many aliens.
Great.
Okay. Well, then if there are no questions, we're going to get started with this read. Is everybody ready?
Yeah, let's do
The
it.
Faculty,
Do it.
AKA The Feelers by Kevin Scream Williamson. Football field. The morning sun beats down on a high school football stadium. It has a small town feel. Enclosed by a track court, it has metal bleachers on either side. It is morning, but the sun is already hot and blistering. A large man, 40s, can be seen walking along the empty field. He drinks from a bottle of water, just like we're about to do. This is Coach Willis, a hard man, difficult. He stops to fuss with a water sprinkler head. He jiggles it, tugs on it, and can't seem to get it to work.
God damn it.
He pulls on it some more with something takes his attention, something in the brittle grass. He reaches for it, curious, knocking over his bottled water in the process.
What the?
He scoops up something in his hands. Jefferson High School, a picturesque small town school, a building composed of red brick and tradition, the perfect representation of everything good and true in small town life. Welcome to Jefferson High, a sign sits in front says, home of the Fighting Patriots. It is still early and there are but a few people moving about. An older woman in her 50s, petite, almost frail, moves through the front doors. This is Mrs. Olson. She moves down the dim corridor. The morning sun finds its way through the windows and casting shafts of light along the empty corridor as Mrs. Olson rounds the corner and runs into Principal Drake in mid-40s, stern but attractive, that B.B. Newworth look, with a tough sexiness about her. Miss Olson jumps.
Miss Drake, you scared me.
You're late, Mrs. Olson. The library opens at 8, and you're to arrive
An hour prior. I know, but my husband had a coronary this morning, and I had to rush him to the hospital where he died on arrival, and there was just a lot of paperwork to fill out, and it detained me.
Nice try. Get the Oldsmobile fixed, Miss Olson.
Yes, sir.
Hardcore. The principal carries on, leaving Mrs. Olson. Mrs. Olson comes around a corner. The halls are empty except for a janitor that moves about sluggishly in the distance. Mrs. Olson comes to a set of double doors, and the sign above reads, Library.
I made it through the wilderness. Somehow I made it through.
Mrs. Olson juggles the chain and padlock that secure the door. She unlocks it with her keys and opens the door and steps into the dark library. Stops and wraps the chain and lock around the inside handle of the door and then hits the lights. The library is illuminated. It is a big and vast room lined with rows and rows of books. There are many nooks and crannies that host tables and work cubicles and computers. Mrs. Olson moves through the library to the circulation desk, plops down her things, and proceeds her morning ritual of opening it up, and moves past the window and opens the blinds.
Didn't know how lost I was until I found you.
Through the window, the coach can be seen on the football field nearby. He still fusses with the sprinkler system, and Mrs. Olson moves on another set of doors. She unchains them also, moves to a set of outdoor exit doors, unlocks it, checks it, pushes the door, and it sticks.
I've been beat, incomplete. I've been had. I've been sad and blue.
She pushes harder. The door rips open. And let me just comment on the fact that Piper Laurie does not sing this song in the movie.
They probably couldn't afford the licensing.
Yeah. The door rips open and it comes face to face with Coach Willis. Mrs. Olson jumps. The coach stands in the doorway, his face flush and sweaty.
What do you want, Coach?
It's hot out there. Your water fountain's the closest.
Library's not open for another half hour.
I'll be just a second.
The coach smiles at her. It's a forced smile. He moves past her. Mrs. Olson closes the door, placing the chain and lock on the inside handle. She moves to the thermostat and checks it reading while the coach makes his way to the water fountain. He bends down and begins to guzzle it, which is what we're going to do now. His eyes glance over to Mrs. Olson.
But you made me feel. Oh, you made me feel.
Like a virgin, which Piper Laurie was not, which is why she did not sing it. Mrs. Olson moves to the circulation desk. When she turns around, she finds the coach standing right behind her. He's just a little too close for comfort.
What are you singing?
What? Oh, Madonna. Sorry.
Who's Madonna?
Please, everybody knows Madonna. Singer, actress, mother, torpedo breasts. She's an American institution. Where have you been? Like a virgin. Hey. You okay, Coach?
He nods. He turns his attention to the paper cutter that sits on the counter, and he moves to it, raises his arm, and brings it down. Swick! Mrs. Olson eyes him strangely.
I'm the librarian. You're the coach. One of us is in the wrong place.
Thanks for the water.
Mrs. Olson turns and moves around the circulation desk and sets her keys down. When suddenly the lights go out, darkness envelops the room. Mrs. Olson spins around, her eyes quickly trying to adjust to the room.
Okay, what's going on?
She looks around. Nothing. A wrestling of chains.
Coach?
She approaches the door to find no one there, just the chain slightly rattling. She notices the chain has been woven through both exit doors and the lock affixed. She's been locked in. A growing concern grows across her face, and she moves across the room to the school corridor exit. She walks quickly. She discovers it too has been locked. She's trapped in, pushes the door. She fills her pocket for the keys, but then remembers. She looks back to the circulation desk where the keys lay. She's frightened. She turns to the exit doors and knocks on them. She looks through the small window. The halls are still empty. Turns back to the circulation desk and moves for the keys. When?
Looking for these?
He got them.
What are you doing, Coach?
I wanted a moment alone with you.
I'm sure you've read your school handbook on appropriate faculty conduct, so please give me those keys and avoid the harassment charge.
Here, take them.
Put them on the counter.
The coach smiles and sets them on the counter. Mrs. Olson reaches for them when Coach lunges forward and grabs Mrs. Olson by her arm, yanking her up onto the counter. She screams bloody murder as the coach drags her along the counter to the paper cutter. He raises the blade.
No. Oh, God. No.
He pulls Mrs. Olson's head up to the cutter. She wrenches and kicks. She strikes out at the coach and he loses his footing, and Mrs. Olson falls to the floor and takes off running. The coach recovers. He takes the paper cutter blade and rips it from its base, creating a sword. He starts after Mrs. Olson. Library stacks now. Mrs. Olson races through rows and rows of bookshelves. She finds herself getting deeper and deeper into the library. She stops, tries to control her terrified breathing as she listens for the coach. She moves from row to row, her face frightened. Suddenly she hears...
Like a virgin!
The voice is coming from the other side of the bookshelf, and it is haunting. She moves further down, looking through the shelf as she goes, trying to see through the other side. Suddenly, the cutter blade comes slicing out, just missing her. She screams and races down the narrow aisle, the blade sticking out of the bookshelf as if chasing her. Mrs. Olsen reaches the end of the aisle, spins around the corner to another aisle, and she moves between the large bookshelves, flying down it. She reaches the end. It's a cul-de-sac, a dead end. She turns back around and looks to the end to see the coach coming. He's not. What? But, God damn it. But he's not. All is quiet. A long, agonizing moment, and then from behind, a hand reaches through the bookshelf and grabs her by her hair. The hand rips back, picking her up and dragging her through the shelf. Books crash to the floor as her entire body is forced through the shelf, finally disappearing from view. One last shriek from Mrs. Olsen, and then the library goes deadly quiet. Jefferson High School, morning. The school has come to life as first period approaches. Students are everywhere. Music rocks from every direction. Residential street. A young boy, Pacey in this script, not Casey like in the movie, walks alone, his book bag slung over his shoulder. Almost 15, cute, but still in that gawky stage. He hears a car racing up behind him, rock music blaring. He turns, recognizes it, drops off the sidewalk behind a bush, taking another route. At the far fence beyond the goalpost, Pacey appears. His small frame slips through an opening in the chain link fence as he takes a shortcut across the field. He looks toward the ground. He's the kind of guy who watches his feet as he walks. He moves across the field, kicking at the ground when something stops him. He spots something. He kneels down, curious. The toe of his shoe digs in at something. And then evidently there's some stuff that's been marked out. On the ground, it's a little worm-like substance. No more than 2 inches long, it appears dry and flattened, embedded in the grassy dirt. Pacey picks at it with his fingertips. He pries it loose, scooping it up in his hand, plays with it. There's a soft fleshiness to it. We're talking about what he found in the grass here, people, not something else. Pacey brings it to his nose and sniffs at it when...
Williamson. What are you doing?
Pacey spins around, scared shitless. There's Coach Willis.
I was just heading to school.
This ain't the route, son.
Yes, sir. I know that, sir. I'm so sorry about that, sir.
You're, I forgot your name.
Pacey.
Right. I've seen you around. You're not really into sports. Don't be so scared, son. I'm not going to bite you. Go on, get out of here.
Pacey turns and takes off, scared of the guy. He takes the worm-like thing with him. He skirts by the coach, breaking into a sprint, and the coach stares after him, then back to the ground. Pacey emerges from around a corner, moving through the crowded campus when, BAM! Out of nowhere, an elbow comes flying back into his face, nearly splintering his nose. He slams back against another student, falling to the ground. Blood pours as the timid Pacey takes a deep breath, resigning himself to his all-too-familiar role of school wuss. A girl, 17, an elevated slacker type, dressed in New York Village black, witnesses the incident. This is Stokely, an unapproachable cynic. She eyes Pacey and his bloody nose.
Crash and burn, baby.
She travels on, her eyes going to the student parking lot where a 2-car fender bender has caused a fistfight between 2 girls. They claw at each other. Stokely, watching the spectacle and not where she's going, runs dead smack into Stan, an incredibly handsome, studly jock JFK Jr. in the making type. He grabs hold of Stokely to keep her from falling over.
Whoa, you okay?
He leans into her, his ocean blue eyes piercing her.
Walk much?
You ran into me, beast.
Not nice at all. He takes off, passing a badass senior who's revealing a small handgun to a couple of freshmen. That's normal in high school. They smile. Look at my handgun, friend. They smile, impressed. Stan spots somewhere along the way. The camera follows as he comes upon a vivacious, sexy, perky, frivolous beauty queen cheerleader of a girl. This is Delilah. She stands, bored, talking to a guy with a tuba.
Hey, Delilah.
Stan tries to give her a kiss. She jerks away wildly, her hand protecting her lips.
The lips, do you mind? I'm working.
I need to talk to you.
Not now, you don't. I have a deadline.
She turns her back to Stan, who shrugs, marching on, his eyes going to a young freshman who's getting racked in the balls by an upperclassman. Cool school. The boy falls over in pain. It's Pacey. A pretty young girl who walks by. Meet Mary Beth, a vision of sweet 16, southern debutante loveliness, gorgeous with lots of hair that surrounds eyes full of spunk and fire. She stops a passing tattooed pierced girl.
Excuse me, could you point me toward the office? This is my first day here at Jefferson, and it seems my sense of direction has been obscured by my rampant nervousness.
Mary Beth's accent is 100% Georgia's thick and 100% spot on. Good job. It pours from her lips. The tattooed pierced girl stares deadpan and points.
Thank you ever so. Name's Mary Beth. Mary Beth Louise Hutchinson, if you want the whole damn handle.
Mary Beth takes off, charging into the school building, her wide eyes taking in everything. A teen couple bicker down the hall.
Fuck you.
No, fuck you.
The girl reaches over and slaps the boy. The boy doesn't miss a beat. He slaps her back, but she's ready. She slaps him back harder. Mary Beth turns down another corridor, passing students, teachers, and her eyes wander to a tall, leather-clad guy with hellish good looks. This is Zeke, a second-year senior, troubled and aware. He stands in a circle of young twerps. The camera loses Mary Beth and follows Zeke as he leads the twerps into the boys' bathroom. Inside, he pulls a small Bic pen from his pocket, only the ink has been removed. It contains another substance.
$5 a pop.
The twerps pull their money out as Zeke hands over several Bic pens. One of those twerps is played by the terrible Danny Masterson. The twerps grab them, holding them up to their nostrils, snorting loudly. The pen's contents, a hack drug. God damn it. Takes hold of them quickly as they all start tweaking. Zeke pockets the cash, smiling as the camera rises up and over a bathroom stall to reveal Pacey, cowering alone in the stall, stuffing toilet paper up his bloody nose. Welcome to Jefferson High. In the title sequence. Students come and go around a door marked faculty lounge, a large and spacious room. A long conference table sits center with a couch area off to the side and a refrigerator. The assortment of teachers moving about the place, talking, smoking, and bitching, because it's in all caps. A sexy but timid 30-something teacher crosses to the refrigerator. This is Miss Harper. She places her lunch in the fridge, moving past Mr. Furlong, 40s. His face is kind, friendly, internally happy, like the kind of face that would host The Daily Show one day.
Good morning, Miss Harper.
Mr. Furlong, how are you this morning?
Great. Couldn't be better.
A stodgy old man in his 50s is at the coffee machine. He mixes his coffee with liquor from a flask. Great school. Mumbling to himself. He looks hungover. No one pays him any mind. Meet Mr. Tate.
Did anyone see Letterman last night? Did Mr. Tate get erased?
No, Mr. Tate should be somewhere. Okay, well, here it goes. No, I'm strictly Leno.
They had this dog who could walk backwards on two paws while humming "Oh Say Can You See."
No.
It was the darndest thing.
And the point being?
There's not one. That's the point.
Just then, the door opens and Coach Willis steps in. He appears hot and sweaty. He moves immediately to the water cooler where he begins to guzzle massive amounts of water. Mr. Rogers was on Leno. Remember him?
I do.
Another teacher, Mrs. Brummel, moves by the coach. She's old, near death, no longer fast on her feet.
Who is he?
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Is he still alive?
Barely. He was in the chair. Didn't move much, kind of propped up.
How are you today, Miss Brummel?
Bit tired, but no complaints.
Mrs. Brummel drops a book. She tries to bend down and pick it up with her old ass, but can't quite do it.
I got it, Mrs. Brummel.
Can we say retirement? Mrs. Harper passes by the coach who now stands in front of the air conditioning window unit. He's trying to cool himself.
Is it that hot today, Coach?
It's a little heated today.
His face is dry, no sweat, just a complete lack of moisture. The bell rings. Students make their way to class. Pacey rockets down the hallway, moving to his locker, and behind him, Molly appears. She's a young girl, pretty in a no one will notice for years kind of way.
Pacey, what happened to your nose?
Self-inflicted, Molly.
No, it wasn't. I saw.
You're passive-aggressive, Molly. Anybody ever tell you that?
Yo, where have you been? Grab your camera. Let's roam. We have no front page. We're in a crunch.
Pacey pulls his camera from his locker, slamming it shut, turning to Molly. He places the expensive photographer's camera around his neck.
Later.
He goes, she's crushed. Classroom later. The pristine Miss Harper stands in front of the room, her arms crossed over her chest. She holds a book.
So, Crusoe's greatest fear was that of isolation? His external existence in no way compared to the internal agony of loneliness.
Zeke sits Studley in the front row. Studley. No doubt to be closer to the saliva-inducing Miss Harper. He gives her a seductive wink. Miss Harper looks away, stunned. Just then, the bell rings. The class starts to disperse. Zeke stands and approaches her.
I wouldn't want to be Crusoe, Miss Harper.
Why is that, Zeke?
All alone on that island? No one to talk to, laugh with, no one to touch.
But Caruso found a way to fulfill himself inside, even in madness.
I just wouldn't want to live without a body next to me. How about you?
I'll
tell you what, Miss Harper, don't you answer that. Just think about it.
And this scene was the impetus for the series A Teacher. Pete saunters off as Miss Harper stands flustered, wishing she could handle certain situations better. In Mr. Tate's class, Mr. Tate sits at his desk, sipping his 4th cup of laced coffee, addressing the class. Yep, it's drink time. He takes a sip, then another, then another.
Oh!
He appears tired and hungover, and then he says, "If everyone will turn to chapter 4, Hitler's reign of terror."
Actually, we finished 4, Mr. Tate. We're on chapter 5.
In the back of the room, Stokely sits, pretending to read a paperback. Her eyes are really on Stan, who she watches flip through the textbook. After a moment, she becomes aware that she's being watched herself by none other than Mary Beth, who is seated next to her, and not just watched, but studied. Stokely is becoming increasingly uncomfortable in another moment, and then Stokely turns on her.
Can I help you?
What you reading? Double Planets. Robert Heinlein.
Stokely doesn't respond. Mary Beth wiggles to get her attention.
I'm Mary Beth Louise Hutchison of Atlanta. I'm new here.
Okay.
What's your name?
You don't need to know that.
Mary Beth is perplexed. A late fall breeze blows through the student common areas, and there are outdoor tables where students eat lunch and congregate. The young, angry couple from earlier are against the wall, screaming at each other.
Fuck you.
No, fuck you.
Coach Willis and Mrs. Olson stand next to each other, surveying their surroundings. There is something odd about their behavior, their non-interaction with one another. Abruptly, Mrs. Olson turns and leaves. Nearby, Pacey sits with his camera around his shoulder, looking around through his bag. He pulls out a piece of folded notebook paper. In it is the worm. Suddenly, a shadow falls over Pacey. He looks up to see a figure towering over him. It's Zeke.
Hey, shit bubble, what's up?
How's it going, Zeke?
I was getting a little restless and thought I needed a torture fix.
Not today, Zeke, okay?
But I need a favor. You see those 3 girls over there?
What about them?
If you look close, the one in the middle isn't wearing a bra. Here's what I want you to do. Suppress every homosexual tendency in your body and go over there and rip the girl's shirt off and expose her breasts.
Yeah, right.
Zeke rears back and slams Pacey, knocking the wind out of him, then cozies up to him again, trying to get him to commit this really terrible act.
Don't do this, Pacey. You know I'm a second-year senior with a deep-rooted apply myself issue despite extremely high SAT scores.
I know, Zeke.
Also, I revel in a big fish, little pond scenario, and for various other psychological reasons that deal mainly with mom and dad, I'll probably elect in 3rd year, which means for you, listen up, that I will spend each and every day of this year and next torturing you endlessly in a very slow, subtle fashion, which is completely unnecessary if you would simply walk over there and just give us some tits.
Come on, man, I can't do that. Don't make me.
I'm not making you do anything. It's all about choices.
Okay.
Zeke releases him. He nearly falls down, gasping for air. He straightens himself up, looking about. Molly has been watching. She eyes him, shaking her head. Don't do it. Pacey is beyond humiliation. He takes off, breaking through the crowd, heading over towards the girls. Pacey moves behind the 3 girls, diving for the middle one, and with one hand grabs hold of her blouse and rips. The shirt comes flying off. 2 bouncy breasts appear in full campus view, and the young girl shields herself in shock as Pacey takes off, running with the shirt. I don't think we need to explain what's problematic with that.
Boo.
It was right.
Bad form. Bad form.
Good cut, though.
School courtyard. Off in a corner, a group of students chill, smoking cigarettes. Also not cool kids of today. Malone sits Stokely on a ledge, smoking a cigarette and reading her book. She cringes to see Mary Beth approaching.
Mind if I join you?
Silence. Mary Beth takes a seat anyway. A moment as they both sit, and Mary Beth looks around. The fuck you couple are nearby, still going at it in full force. Mary Beth spots Zeke a little way down, talking secretly to another classmate. She notices Stokely is watching him too.
Who's a nice rear?
Zeke. He's the class pharmacist.
Are you one of those science fiction people? You believe in alternate universes and alien beings and stuff? I'm feeling pretty alien myself today.
Ugh.
So, Why don't you want me to know your name?
Why do you want to know my name?
I don't have any friends, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you seem to have one less than that. So I just thought.
Delilah appears.
Hi, Stokely. Are you Hi, Stokely. Are you seducing the new students again? Hi, I'm Delilah. Happy to have you at Jefferson. Oh, Stokely, love the way you accessorize the different shades of black in your ensemblage.
Fuck you, gutter slut.
What a great line.
Oh, fuck, right.
Oh, fuck, yep.
Know why you insist on being such a bad example for your people.
What people?
I hope you're not a violent lesbian like your newfound friend here.
No. I'm not even aware of any lesbianism in my lineage.
You bipolar bitch.
Once again, let's shame people for being bipolar.
And lesbians.
And lesbians. Come on, Robert Rodriguez. Full quarter.
Kevin Williamson, who you wouldn't.
Kevin Williamson.
Oh, that's right. Kevin Williamson. My bad. Fuck you, Kevin Williamson. Lunch is still in progress as Stokely races down the near empty hallway. She's out of breath and out of sorts. She stops at a water fountain and takes a sip, just like we're going to do.
Fuck.
To your reflection in the clean mirrorish still. Thank you, Clay. She wipes at her face. Her looks clearly disturb her. She rests against the locker directly across from an open doorway, revealing Mrs. Brummel's classroom. Alone at her desk is old-ass Mrs. Brummel, eating her lunch quietly. Stokely moves down the hallway, running smack into Mrs. Olson, very much alive. She looks a bit tired and sweaty.
Sorry, Mrs. Olson.
Mrs. Brummel, may I have a word with you?
Certainly.
Mrs. Olson moves into the room, turning to see Stokely standing across the hall. Their eyes meet a moment, and then Mrs. Olson quietly shuts the door. Stokely backs down the hall, staring at the closed door. Curious, she doesn't see the figure that looms behind her. She runs into Stan again.
Whoa!
Get an eye dog.
You're a work, man.
Stan's eyes find hers. He smiles. His stare makes her uncomfortable. She scurries off. The biology lab. A big room with many workstations. Just before the bell, the room is filling up. Kids joke and laugh. The room is very relaxed. Pacey is talking to Mr. Furlong.
I found something on the football field. I thought you might check it out for me.
What is it?
Pacey reaches into his bag. In the back of the room, Stokely is at a workstation. Mary Beth peers by her side.
Want to be lab partners? I didn't know you were a lesbian. I don't think I've ever met one before. I'm from the South and we're all just so repressed down there. Have you been out long? It's very impressive and evolved of you.
I'm not a lesbian, all right?
Oh, I'll be one. Please, fly free.
Look, you were right about me, okay? I don't have any friends. I like it that way. Being a lesbian is just my security.
Against what?
People like you.
Complex.
At the front of the room, Pacey has shown Mr. Furlong what he found on the football field. He lays it out.
I never seen one before. I thought you might like it.
Ooh.
Mr. Furlong is instantly intrigued.
Some kind of worm.
Well, not exactly. It appears to be more parasitic, of the protozoa family, maybe.
Mr. Furlong is stumped but fascinated. He points to a student.
Hey, Grungehead, pass me the scope there.
The bell rings. The remainder of the class wanders in, including Zeke. Mary Beth eyes him instantly. The entire class is gathered around the table while Mr. Furlong examines Pacey's find minutes later.
Okay, hold on. I'm not good with science words, and also this script there's a lot of like smearing on the words. So a certain mesozoan only occurs in the kidney of certain octopuses and squids, which wouldn't make sense because
this is Ohio.
Correct. And a pelagic organism.
What's pelagic?
A sea-dwelling organism.
Exactly. I don't recognize this surface tissue at all. Pacey, I don't want to jump the gun, but you might have found a new species here.
Yeah, right.
It could happen. New species are discovered every day. Don't be a skeptic. You're too young.
Could it be Nasthos melodim? I'm just going to take a drink. You guys go back. They escaped detection until the mid-20th century.
You just know everything.
I'm a contradiction.
No, because check the follicles on its underbelly. It's not annealing. Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna.
You just drink.
I'll do 3 preemptives. It's not annelid or mollusca. It's completely extrinsic.
What should we do with it?
I think we should call the university. Send it up there. Let them have a look.
Yeah. Starship Stoke, why don't you take a look? Maybe it's from your planet.
Look, blow me, you blood fart.
Easy.
Blood fart. Stokely shoves the obnoxious student who falls under the table, spilling a cup of water across it, splashing the organism, dousing it. So technically that organism is drinking that water.
Aw, damn it.
Suddenly the worm curls. Several students gasp as the organism begins to spiral and then retracts on its own, very much alive.
Did you see that?
It moved.
Cool.
Our apologies to science. A water-filled aquarium. A minute later, the class stands around it as Mr. Furlong holds the cork mat with the organism above it.
You think it's amphibian?
No, water resuscitated it.
Couldn't this kill it?
Yeah, you don't want to drown it. You know, that's cold, dude.
Mr. Furlong drops it into the aquarium. A moment as it begins to sink to the bottom, but midway it stops. Slowly it begins to balloon out, swelling slightly. Through the glass, the creature seems to bubble as it sprouts tiny, fin-like feelers that spread around it quickly. The feelers shoot out, attaching themselves to one side of the glass, then pulls the worm towards it like a lightning move. Many scream as the entire class step back. Laughter follows as everyone's nerves get rattled. Science is cool.
It's okay. It's okay.
Incredible.
Freak.
Perhaps we should call the university. They might be able to tell us more.
Athletic Center. Later, a huge Olympic swimming pool takes up the entire room. Phys Ed is in process as a group of boys race in lanes. The coach blows his whistle.
Hit the showers.
I've just been thinking ahead, and well, I've decided to quit the team and concentrate on my academics.
Stan takes a deep breath, eyeing the coach. A moment as the preoccupied coach realizes that Stan has finished talking and is now his turn.
Okay, well, Stan will miss you.
Blows his whistle again.
That's it?
What do you want me to say? My star quarter tells me the day before we play Brun County, the only team in the district that can kick our ass, he doesn't want to play. There's something up with that. You seem to be going through a life-defining turning point, and I'm not going to stand in the way of the human condition. You do what you have to do.
Stan is amazed at how well the coach is taking it.
Thanks for not reaming me, Coach.
Locker room. Later, Pacey's at his locker. He's slowly stripping, readying himself for the shower. A couple jocks and towels pass by. They've already finished up.
Yo, Pitswad.
Excuse me, I was breathing here.
Yeah, that's the problem, you anal probe. You're occupying my air.
I'm committing suicide later this evening if that'll help.
Don't get smart with me, you little puke.
Hey guys, leave him alone. Hands off, man.
Yo, Stan, whatever you say. Captain tomorrow night, right?
We draw blood, maybe? I don't know.
Stan gives the guys a high five. He doesn't have the nerve to tell them.
It must really blow being you, huh?
Stan is in the shower. You know, I believe in the movie, isn't it Casey who says that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was a good change. That was a good change to give him that line. Showers. Stan is in the shower alone. He turns on the water and it quickly steams up as he steps under the nozzle. He lathers up. He soaps up his face, eyes closed, not seeing the shadow that bounces. He opens his eyes and rinses, and seeing nothing, he spins around as another shadow falls over him, this time a noise. With soap in his eyes, he turns.
Yo, Pacey.
No response, just a growing shadow. Feet as they move across the floor. Women's feet in heels. They struggle out of the shoes. Barefoot, the feet appear aged and weathered. Stan rinses soap from his face, opening his eyes to discover old-ass Mrs. Brummel, standing in the middle of the shower, her face contorted in a bizarre expression, almost trance-like. Stan freaks, reaching for his towel.
Shit, Mrs. Brummel!
The old and tired Mrs. Brummel is struggling with her dress. She pulls on it wildly, trying to rip it from her body. Stan watches in horror. She seems completely lost, disoriented, out of sorts. The locker room. Pacey is dressed and walking out when he hears Stan scream. He races to the shower to find Stan, moving towards Mrs. Brummel.
Mrs. Brummel, are you okay?
Jesus.
Mrs. Brummel moves under the shower head, the water soaking her.
Please help me. I can't breathe.
Pacey appears.
Get help. What's wrong, Mrs. Brummel? I'll just drink.
He grabs hold of it, holding it for dear life. Stan is taken back, unsure of what to do. He wraps his arms around her, comforting her.
I don't know what's happening.
Stan reaches down and pats her head gently when a clump of her hair comes off in his hand. Stan stares at it, face aghast. Later, the bell rings. School's out as students come barreling toward the doors of Jefferson High. Stan and Pacey are in the hallway talking to Mrs. Olson.
Is Mrs. Brummel going to be okay?
Stan, Mrs. Brummel's been diagnosed with cancer, and she's on a lot of medication at the moment. It causes disorientation. We were hoping she'd make it through the school year, but unfortunately, I hope you can understand the sensitive nature of the situation.
Hey, I can keep it quiet.
Pacey, do you understand?
He do. The football field can be seen now. Pacey watches as the sprinkler system sprays water all over the field. The coach stands on the sidelines watching. He stands tall. Pacey studies him.
Pacey.
Sure. Yeah, whatever.
Delilah approaches.
Is it true?
Is what true?
Did you quit the team or not?
Hey, I tried to tell you this morning.
So you just decided on your own? Were you even going to tell me?
I don't want to play anymore, okay? Look, could we cool this? I just had the weirdest experience thus far in life.
Don't diffuse. One thing at a time. We're a couple, you and me. We should discuss these things first. You know how controlling I am.
I've had a really weird day. I just don't want to play anymore, all right? Just leave it.
Dan's really emotional, y'all.
I am.
But you have nothing else. Don't you get it? Your boyish good looks and athletic prowess are all you have.
I thought...
Stop thinking. It doesn't work for you.
Okay. Biology lab. Mr. Furlong sits on a stool overlooking the aquarium. The water level has dropped considerably, and Mr. Furlong adds some water to it.
Are you a boy or a girl?
Watches it move from side to side.
More importantly, can you homo say, can you see?
Mr. Furlong reaches for a thin latex glove and slides his hand into it.
Let's get friendly. What are you saying?
Mr. Furlong snaps the glove tight and then places his hand on the aquarium opening. He's a little hesitant. It's on his face. Inside the aquarium, the feelers whip about, growing longer and longer around the worm. The water no longer looks clear. Mr. Furlong dips his hand into it, moving it down. Furlong's hand moves down through the web of feelers. He moves to the worm, taking it between his thumb and forefinger, squeezing it. Unexpectedly, it separates, dividing in two. Both sections, sensing harm, dart to different ends of the aquarium.
Oh, you can replicate, my little friend.
Furlong lets his hand dangle in the middle. Just then, one of the worms spews forth right at Furlong's hand. It attaches to it. Furlong screams in pain, looking down to attack him. He shakes it loose, pulling his hand from the aquarium. Ouch! Furlong checks out his finger. He's okay. He taps the glass, a little pissed.
That hurt.
The hallways have cleared out. Pacey walks alone down the hallway, his camera around his back. Just then, Delilah appears.
I need a lead story. I have no page one.
We think we found a new phylum in biology. It's bizarre, really bizarre. Mr. Furlong thinks it could be a new species.
Ooh, let me race to the stands for that one. That issue.
See it. I think it's some weird shit.
Who gives a rat's ass? I want dirt.
We can't go in there.
Look, little freak boy, you're with me. Be brave.
Do you notice how Delilah in this is just like a young Gail Weathers?
Yes, 1,000%. That's exactly what she is.
Faculty lounge. The lounge is empty. Several loud knocks are heard, like this. Then the door squeaks open and Delilah sticks her head in. The coast is clear. She pushes Pacey through the door and then, oh God. I just said a bad word. And then they through the door and they enter.
What are we looking for?
Anything.
Delilah immediately starts moving around. She checks out the faculty mailboxes, open drawers and cabinets, finds a purse or two.
Miss Burke is medicated.
Delilah is reading a prescription drug she's found in a purse, and Pacey pushes through a supply closet and pursues it. He opens up an empty liquor bottle.
I exposed Mr. Tate's alcoholism last year. Nobody cares.
There's a noise at the door. Delilah and Pacey freak. They dive for the closet, closing the door behind them, leaving a slight crack. Delilah and Pacey peek to see Mrs. Olson enter the lounge with Coach Willis. They appear sweaty and dehydrated. They move to the water cooler. The coach and Mrs. Olson move silently. Coach Willis pours water from the cooler and hands it to Mrs. Olson. She splashes it on her face.
That's not a drink.
That's right. Delilah can't quite see. She gets hold, pushing the door open further to Pacey's frantic objections. Miss Burke enters the room, smiling at the coach and Mrs. Olson. And Miss Burke says, "Is that you? Who is that? Who's Miss Burke?"
Oh, hey, Coach. Is it true we could get rained out tomorrow night?
The coach and Mrs. Olson eye each other as Miss Burke moves across the room to retrieve her purse. Then the coach turns to Miss Burke, a smile appearing across her face.
It'll never happen, Miss Burke.
The coach moves toward her with Miss Olson circling the center table, coming up behind her.
Not according to Channel 12.
Delilah and Pacey watch through the crack as Mrs. Olson passes right by the closet, moving in on Miss Burke. Miss Burke turns to find Mrs. Olson right in her face. She's confused. Her timid body fidgets as she inches away from her toward the closet.
Is something wrong?
Suddenly, the coach lunges for her, attacking her, throwing her against the closet door. The door slams shut. Its impact startles Delilah. She goes flying back against the back wall closet. She trips, dropping hard to the floor, coming face to face with Mrs. Brummel, very much dead, sitting propped upright in the corner of the closet, her body stiff and pale, depleted. Delilah leaps up in terror as Pacey grabs her, throwing her hands over her mouth, stifling her scream. But Dell's hysterical. She fights him. Just then, crash, boom, from beyond the door. A struggle is heard as Miss Burke cries out. Coach Willis has thrown Mrs. Burke to the floor. Mrs. Olson moves with exact precision, grabbing Burke's arms, pinning them down while Willis climbs on top of her, straddling her. Delilah is crazed. She fights Pacey, trying to break free. She pushes Pacey against the shelf. Supplies start to shift as the shelf upturns. Pacey grabs at it, stabilizing it so as not to make any noise. Mrs. Olson sits up, certain she's heard something. Pacey and Dell drop to the floor. Pacey shushes her. They both scared beyond belief, just inches from Brummel's lifeless corpse. They hear the struggle continue beyond the door. Miss Burke, shocked and stunned, is fighting back, kicking and writhing underneath the coach's strong body. Mrs. Olson turns her attention back to Burke as Mrs. Willis bends over Burke's petrified face, bringing her mouth open to their ear. Pacey and Dale, frozen still, listen as Mrs. Burke's struggles come to an end. All goes quiet, a deadly silence. Then, tap, tap, two pencils fall down on Pacey. He looks up to see a large box of pencils overturned on its side. They're slowly dislodging. Pacey's eyes widen. Oh, shit! A pencil breaks free, rolling from the box over the edge of the shelf, falling down. Pacey reaches out, grabbing it before it can hit the floor and make noise. Delilah sees what's happening as another pencil falls. Pacey, frantic, reaches out, catches it, but another comes fast behind it. He can't keep up with them. Delilah tries to keep as the pencils keep trying to rain down. Willis and Olson are dragging Burke's body to the faculty couch that lines the wall. They lay her down on it, her body unmoving, deadly still. Pacey stands up, reaching for the box of pencils as they give way. Dozens of pencils come crashing down on top of them, spattering to the floor. The noise undeniable. Pacey and Dell cringe. Olson and Willis turn in unison towards the closet, then to each other. Their faces expressionless. They move to the door, Willis reaching it first. He rips it open. He's assaulted with the end of a long broom. It comes blasting out on him, crashing on him in the gut. He bellies over as Pacey and Dell rocket out of the closet. Dell smacks Mrs. Olson, sending her sprawling.
One!
But Delilah needs no incentive. She flies towards the door. Pacey right behind her as Willis and Olson uncover unaffected. Delilah reaches for the doorknob when she screams, looking down to see Miss Burke sit upright. She appears unharmed from Coach and Mrs. Olson. In fact, she's now one of them. Her eyes wide, her face blank and cold. Pacey appears, shoved Burke backwards, pulling Dell free. They throw open the door and take off a long, empty corridor. The lights are off. It's dark and shadowy. Dell and Pacey tear down it, slipping on the slick floor. They skid around a corner, racing to an exit door. It's locked and chained. Delilah pounds on it.
What the fuck is going on?
Quick!
They continue on shooting down the hall. Pacey looks behind. No one. Nothing. They continue on rounding the corner, running dead smack into Principal Drake.
What's going on here?
Miss Drake, please, you've got to help us. They're after us. They killed Mrs. Brummel.
Who killed who? What are you talking about?
Coach Willis.
And Mr. Olson. Mrs. Olson.
Drake!
You've lost me. Calm down, please.
What's going on?
Ask Miss Burke. She'll tell you that they attacked her.
Let's go back to my office.
There's no time. We got to get out of here.
Who attacked who? Miss Drake, what's going on?
I don't know. I joined this already in progress.
Something really weird is going on here. Mrs. Brummel wigged out in the shower today. Then we found her body in the faculty closet.
What were you doing in the faculty closet?
Oh, that's not the point. Jesus, help us.
Then Coach Willis and Mrs. Olsen attacked Mrs. Burke.
Why would they do that?
They've gone psycho.
I don't think they're who they are.
Principal glances to Mr. Tate. She rolls her eyes a bit.
Let's go to my office and clear this up.
Pacey and Delilah are a standstill. They don't know what to do. They turn with Miss Drake and Mr. Tate and begin to walk with them. They start down the empty hallway. Suddenly, Miss Burke appears at the end.
There's Mrs. Burke. Ask her.
Suddenly, Coach Willis and Miss Olsen appear behind her. They stand spread out across the corridor like a barrier. Pacey turns back to Miss Drake, who looks at him expressionless.
Now we can get to the bottom of this.
Pacey eyes Delilah. Something's not right here. In an instant, he breaks through Drake and Mr. Tate.
Run, Delilah.
She breaks free too. They go running down the hall. Principal Drake looks at the others. She merely casts eyes at them. In seconds, they'll all split up, going in different directions. They move with a smooth and calculated ease. Pacey has lost Delilah now. She's nowhere to be found. He finds a pair of exit doors locked and chained, and he beats on them.
Fucking fire hazard.
He looks up and down the hallway. Nothing. Quiet. He moves on, coming to a steel metal gate that has been stretched accordion style across the hallway, sealing it off. It too has a large padlock attached to it. Just then,
Pacey!
Pacey looks through the gate to see Delilah quickly approaching on the other side. No longer tough as nails, she's now a blubbering, wet mess.
Jesus, you left me.
Oh, God, Pacey, we gotta get out of here.
It's locked. Listen, find a window, bust it if you have to. Just get out.
Suddenly, Coach Willis appears in the hallway.
Run, Delilah, run!
She screams, bloody murder.
Go, now, through there.
Pacey points to the nearest classroom door. Delilah races towards it, throws it open as Mr. Tate leaps out. Ah! He reaches for her as she screams and pulls away. She falls back against the gate. Pacey sticks his hands through trying to help her, but Mr. Tate moves towards her, cornering her. Come with me, Delilah, because I like girls.
Stay away from me.
There's nothing Pacey can do. He kicks at the gate, trying to rip it open, but it's impossible. Coach Willis approaches, a ring of keys in his hand.
Look, son, there's been a misunderstanding. Come with me and we'll work it out.
Pacey is frozen with fear. Delilah stands cornered between the gate and wall. Cling. The coach wrestles with the gate's lock. It slices open just as Delilah belts Mr. Tate hard. Ah! This surprises him, just enough for her to break free. She plows into Coach Willis, sending him sprawling against the metal gate. Pacey reaches through the opening, grabs her, and they're off and running. They move through a bathroom door as the coach and Mr. Tate recover. Pacey gasps, racing to the window, pulling it open.
Through here.
He helps her through.
Help me.
He looks up, but Delilah is gone. She's left him again. The door opens behind him. He jumps up on the windowsill and lifts himself through just as hands grab him. Pacey kicks and screams half and half out of his window. He breaks free, falling to the ground outside. He brings himself up and runs like mad, not looking back. The sun is starting to set as a police car, sirens wailing, lights flashing, races into the parking lot. Principal Drake is leading two police officers down the hall. Behind them is Pacey with his parents, an attractive, middle-aged couple. They arrive at the faculty lounge door. One of the officers, a capable young man, turns to Pacey.
In here?
Yes, her body was in the closet.
Now, why would she be in the closet?
Because they killed her.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Drake leads them to the faculty lounge where Coach Willis and Mrs. Olsen are sitting.
Careful.
Hey, Pacey. Sorry about the mix-up earlier.
Apparently, there's been a misunderstanding.
Still, if we could just see inside the closet.
Certainly.
They all crowd in, moving to the closet door, and Drake throws it open to reveal a tiny closet. Sitting on the floor, leaning against the wall, is a woman's body. One of the cops... What? One of the cops race forward. One of the cops race forward only to find a full-bodied CPR doll. Oh, that's the joke. It's not really a body. It's a dummy.
Meet Resuscitation Annie. We use her to train the students in CPR. I guess she does favor Mrs. Brummel slightly.
They put that there.
So where is Mrs. Brummel?
Mrs. Brummel wasn't feeling well today. She went home early.
Look, I'm not making this up. You gotta find Delilah.
We called Delilah. She's not home. Her mom says she keeps odd hours.
She was here with me. She saw it too. They attacked Miss Burke.
What's going on here, Miss Drake?
Miss Burke is epileptic. She's prone to grand mals.
She had an attack.
But luckily, she keeps her medicine in her purse. We were able to help.
I took her home myself. You can call her if you like.
I guess we should. It's procedure.
You can use the phone in my office.
He leads them out.
Sorry I chased you down, son. The Patriots sure could use your speed, though.
Did you hear that? He's hitting that speed. Hey, good luck in that game tomorrow, Coach.
Minutes later, everyone in the school office looking very tired and agitated, and Principal Drake eyes the male officer.
This way.
The officer nods, "Give me a sec," to his female partner, disappearing inside the inner office with the principal. Pacey's dad grabs him by the collar and pulls him off to the side of the room. His mother follows.
What is with you?
Look, he needs help, Will. This is merely a symptom of a greater problem.
Thump! A noise comes from the office as if a chair was overturned. Pacey spins around facing the door. The woman police officer looks too. Pacey's parents are indifferent.
Mom, Dad, I know I'm a fuck up, but...
Hey, the mouth.
Evelyn knows a doctor downtown. I'll make an appointment.
Suddenly, the principal's door swings open and Drake appears, followed by the young officer. Pacey eyes him closely. He appears exasperated, slightly dizzy. A knowing suspicion comes over Pacey.
Adam.
We just spoke with Mrs. Brummel and Miss Burke.
No.
There's nothing here. Let's go.
I am so sorry, Miss Drake.
I can see how it all got out of hand. It's a rather bizarre series of events.
Yes, well, then,
He turns to go. Pacey's dad is a little less tolerable. He grabs his son by the arm and leads him towards the door. Pacey turns, catching Principal Drake's stare as he moves out.
We'll see you tomorrow, Pacey.
Pacey's house. Stars shine over a small family home in a quiet neighborhood. His bedroom is simple, messy. Pacey is standing in the corner while his father upturns the room. He's on a search, checking under the bed, spilling out drawers, etc. Pacey's mom stands in the doorway, her face distressed.
I'm not on drugs.
Check his school books. They hide the drugs in the spine of the book. I saw it on Dateline.
Can you say felony? That's government property, Dad.
We love you, son. We want to help.
Then believe me. I'm telling the truth. Something's weird is going on in school. The teachers, something's happened to them. Let me call Delilah, please.
Drink on school.
That's right. Drink on school and no phone. Your privileges are over. You'll go straight to school and then go home. Got it?
Drink on school again.
I'm not going back to that school. They're waiting for me.
Drink on school again.
You'll be there if I have to tie you to a school desk myself.
And one more.
God damn it.
Rude.
Pacey is at a loss. He watches as his dad unplugs his stereo.
No stereo.
His porno.
Pacey's dad reaches under his mattress and pulls out a couple of magazines. He heads for the door. Pacey is scared, panicked.
I can't go back to school. Please.
We're gonna get you help, son. Don't worry.
That was another school, by the way.
Fuck.
The door closes. Pacey leaps to his closet, grabs his jacket, puts it on, races to his desk, scribbles a note, puts it on his bed pillow, and moves to his window. He lifts the pane and crawls through. Outside the house, there's a figure standing on the sidewalk, dark and shadowed. He can't see a face, but the body is unmistakable. It's Coach fucking Willis. The coach stands there unmoving. Then he sees another shape closer, standing in the bushes in his yard. It's Mrs. Olson. Next to her stands the shape of Mr. Tate. Their faces hidden. Pacey, horror-stricken, starts back for the window. Bam! His body lands hard in the shrubs next to the house. He looks up to see the figures moving for him. Their steps unified, quick, and precise. He brings himself to his feet quickly as Mrs. Olson reaches out for him, her arm grabbing Pacey's collar as he rounds a corner, running smack into his father. Pacey screams.
What are you doing out here?
They're here, Dad.
Get in the house now.
I'm losing it. I'm really losing it.
No shit.
Jefferson High, morning. Pacey and his dad pull up in front of the school. Pacey sits in silent terror. A moment as the car idles, students come and go around him.
Go on, son.
Please, Dad, I'm begging you. Something is taking over the teachers. I know it's crazy, but they're not who they say they are. Please, Dad, if you care about me at all.
Come right home after school.
Drake.
Your mom is looking into a doctor.
It's a lost cause. His father is unbending. Pacey looks to the front of the school. He opens the car door and steps out. He begins to walk up the school steps, turns to see his dad watching, waiting to make sure he goes inside. Pacey walks up and steps and enters through the front door and sees Mr. Furlong standing in the hallway talking to Mr. Tate. Something, 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 because that line is indecipherable. Pacey bolts out of the door and down the steps. Hands grab him. They carry him high like a trophy, marching alongside the building, slapping and swatting at him. They reach a secluded corner and dump him.
Payback is hell.
Says a character known as Braless Girl. He lands on his back hard. Before he can escape, three girls have besieged upon him, pinning him down. The braless girl just does horrible things to him until his jeans are off as the scissors move to his underpants.
Please, holy mother of God, I fucking beg you!
The underwear comes off. Giggles everywhere as several Polaroids appear as the girls hold him down and begin snapping away. Seconds turn into years for Pacey until finally the girls are gone, running off with his lower garments, and Pacey is left bare ass on the damp morning grass. He grabs his book bag and strategically places it, clothes on his face, completely numb, no signs of tears. He looks up to find Molly staring at him, pulling something from her book bag, her face full of understanding. She holds out a pair of sweatpants.
My gym clothes. They're probably too big for you.
A moment between them, but not enough of a moment where they kept this character in the movie. The faculty lounge. The teachers move about in a business-as-usual fashion, but if one would look close, they would notice that the coffee machine is untouched. No cigarette smoke lingers in the air, and the chatting is at a minimum, which in teacher language means something fucked up. Corridor. Students come and go. Pacey, in his newly acquired sweats, moves down the hall, lost in the sea of students. Down the corridor comes Principal Drake. Pacey detours, moving the other way. He spots the library door, sees a group of students entering, and he gets lost in them. Pacey moves through the library, immediately sees Mrs. Olsen behind the circulation desk and moves behind a bookshelf, eyeing her. Goes unnoticed. Study hall students move about. Pacey ducks behind a row of books. There's a lot of ducking and dodging. Once there, he scans the catalog, finds the letter I, and pulls the entire drawer from the car catalog. Close up on the catalog files, he's searching titles that start with the letter I. He moves fast, coming quickly on what he's looking for. Invasion of the Body Snatchers by Jack Finney. Pacey rips the card from the drawer and takes off in search of the book. He moves through row after row, passing several students, keeps dodging and dodging and dodging. There's Mrs. Olsen. He continues on. He comes to a shelf, sees it, finds the book, gets it. There we go.
Will the following students please report to the office? Tina Danhausen, Gil Gold, Gabe Maker.
Pacey takes a seat, listening to the principal, focusing on the book. Just before the late bell, Stan enters and takes his seat. Behind him enters Stokely in Mrs. Tate's classroom. She's following Stan, obviously. Mary Beth takes notice, approaches.
Oh, go talk to him.
No way.
Mary Beth shoves an unwilling Stokely forward, encouraging her to approach Stan. One last fatal shove sends her slamming into Stan's desk.
I'm unbalanced.
No shit.
You ready for the big game tomorrow?
I quit the team.
No way. Are you serious?
Yeah, I kind of lost interest, you know. I thought I'd explore some other interests.
Exploration is a good thing.
Yeah?
He looks at her, smiles. Stokely smiles back. A connection is made. The last bell rings. Students take their seats as Mr. Tate stands at the front of the class. He drinks bottled water like we're going to drink now. He appears fresh and energetic. Not at all the sluggish coffee touch from yesterday. Okay, class. Today I thought we'd do a living family history. I want y'all to take a piece of paper and write down all living members of your family. Start with the immediate family, those living with you, but then include your nearest living relatives. The class groans. Just then, I didn't hear a groan, class. Just then, another announcement from the PA system.
Your attention, please. Will the following students please report to the office? Robin Mercer, Shirley Mayo, Corey Gillikin.
A student gets up and heads for the office. Others comment, "What's up? Dude, they gotcha." The students look back and smile. This all seems innocent. Students move about enjoying their break. As he moves about the campus, he spots the two fuck-ups and he moves to them.
Guys, the doctor is in.
Nah, dude. Gonna chill.
Take a pass.
They scurry off. He sees the fuck you couple against the wall. They're holding hands, talking to each other, appearing very compatible. This gives him pause. Then he spots Mary Beth standing alone, looking lost.
Hey there. Remember me?
Oh, yes, you're Zeke from biology.
And you're Mary Beth from Atlanta.
You've been doing your homework.
I'm opposed to homework, actually. I just believe there are some things you have to know.
Really? So if you don't do your homework, how'd you get to be so smart?
I'm cursed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flirting. The hall is quiet. Most students are outside for lunch. Pacey moves down the hall when he sees the braless girl posting something on the wall. She turns and sees him smiling with pure evil. No, she's not evil. Look what he did to her. She had every right. She disappears. He moves to the poster to discover written in bold colors in the line, "Pacey Connor has a 1-inch noodle dick." And it's accompanied by a Polaroid. Serves him right. He starts to tear it down when he spots Stokely moving down the hall.
Hey, Stoke.
What?
You're a Trekkie, right?
Go away.
I thought you were into sci-fi.
Sci-fi fan does not a Trekkie make. Star Trek is amateur night.
I need your help.
I know that one hurt Clay Keller. School office. Several students sit in chairs lined up outside of the principal's office. The school secretary moves about behind the office counter. A lady in her 50s. Stan enters and approaches the counter.
Excuse me, could you tell me how Miss Brummel's doing?
She's sick. She'll be out for a few days.
This is Gabe, I
This
think.
is Gabe's voice, yeah.
Do we have a Gabe?
I think that's Devaughn.
Oh, we cannot hear you, Devaughn.
We cannot hear you.
I'm back. Yo, Academia, what's up?
Dan spots a friend, Gabe, a big jock of a guy.
Gabe, what are you doing?
Got called to the office. You're not pissed, are you?
About what?
I'm the new team captain.
Yeah? No, man, congrats. Rule.
Fucking ass A, man. We're gonna miss you. I don't get it. How can you leave?
Kevin Williamson really did speak the language of today's youth.
What's going on?
They got the nurse in there. You know, they're checking for Lyme ticks or something. Sorry, you're not playing, dude. It ain't right.
Just then, the principal's office door opens and a young girl appears, being led by Principal Drake. She stumbles a bit, confused and disoriented, and she moves by Stan.
Hey, Tina.
He turns to him as if she doesn't recognize her own name. Then she moves out the door, and Principal Drake looks to Gabe, motioning to him.
Later, dude.
He disappears inside the office. Bad shit going down. Empty classroom. Pacey and Stokely are in mid-discussion.
They chased us, but we got away.
Where's Delilah now?
Can't find her.
And this all started when Mrs. Brummel did a demi in the boys' locker room?
Think so.
Later.
Where are you going?
To be announced.
Look, I've been doing some homework. Are you familiar with the invasion of the body snatchers?
The movie or the book?
Either.
It was several movies. One in 94, one in 78, and the original in 57, which was based on the book The Body Snatchers by Jack Finney.
Which was published in 1954.
So?
I think aliens are taking over our school.
You're tweaking.
Hear me out.
It's a story somebody made up, Dingus. The Body Snatchers is located in the fiction section of the library.
So is Schindler's List. Look, all fiction is based on some truth, right? What does Miss Harper teach in English 101? Write what you know. There's this Jack Finney guy. I read his bio. He grew up in Mill Valley, California, not much bigger than our little town here. How do we know he didn't encounter aliens in his high school, which led him to write a book about alien invasion? Where does truth end and fiction begin?
I think we have to drink.
You're right.
But also, you're that person. You know that? That person who's confusing reality with fantasy? You really should stay away from mass media entertainment. You could be dangerous.
How do you know there's not a conspiracy? Maybe the X-Files is right. Where do all these movies come from anyway? How do we know Spielberg and George Lucas haven't been visited by aliens? And maybe they're aliens themselves. Maybe they're simply preparing us for what's to come. They're simply... I'm trying to get my fucking beer at the same time. Have you been to a bookstore? Have you been to a bookstore lately? The science fiction section is growing.
Now this is key, wet brain. Science fiction.
Exactly. Everyone gets hung up on the science part, which has nothing to do with it. They're getting at us through this fiction book.
Your brain toast.
I had you pegged for a Mulder, not a Scully. This is what they're counting on, don't you see? They set it up so perfectly through the years. They've created such a make-believe existence with all their E.T. and Men in Black movies. Who would believe it if it really happened?
You're out of your freaking mind. You're saying that pod people are taking over our school?
I think so, yes.
Well, your conspiracy theory is flawed.
How so?
For starters, Jack Finney's The Body Snatchers was a blatant ripoff of The Puppet Masters by Robert Heinlein. So you can completely disregard that entire work.
Puppet, Snatchers, whatever. My point is they're here, they've been here, and they're here again.
In The Body Snatchers, they were pods. So where are they? Where are the pods?
There are no pods. It's something else. And the Puppet Master's book, what were they?
Parasites.
Really?
They both turn to the open door. Across the hall, they can see into Furlong's science lab. Stokely is visibly chilled as it all comes full circle. She moves to it. Pacey follows closely behind.
No way.
What else could it be?
They move in to the aquarium. It is completely empty, drained of its water. They look at each other.
Can I help you?
They both turn to find Mr. Furlong standing at the end of the room. He stares at them, his face solemn.
The thing I found yesterday. Where is it?
I sent it up to the university.
That was quick.
And do they know what it is?
Mr. Furlong shrugs. His eyes hold on them. He quietly licks his dry lips. Stokely heads for the door, motioning to Pacey. He follows her. Stokely and Pacey move down the hallway.
I'm starting to mold her a little. This is a little creepy.
Stan appears.
Hey, Pace, you see Delilah Day?
No, man.
I need to find her. There's some weird shit going on here, so if you see her...
What kind of weird shit?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Handicap bathroom. Pacey, Stokely, and Stan piece their information together.
Jesus Christ, I don't believe it. I mean, I do, but I don't. It's crazy.
You saw Mrs. Brummel yourself in the shower. It started with the teachers, but now...
And they've been calling students to the office all day.
I know. I saw the line out there. They had Gabe and Tina.
Didn't Gabe replace you as the captain of the team?
Yeah, so?
And Tina's class president. Come to think of it, they started with all the class officers, student council members.
They're starting with the most influential and working their way down.
Yes, you picked the right week to quit football.
It's almost as if they're building an army.
Suddenly, the door opens and a figure steps in. Stan, in jock mode, grabs the figure and throws it against the wall. The figure wears a cap and an oversized boy's Letterman jacket.
Hey, easy. It's me.
Stan steps back to discover Delilah. She's incognito with her hair bundled up and her bat and eyeglasses on.
What are you doing?
Hiding out.
I didn't know you wore glasses.
Contacts.
What happened to you? I called you. I've been looking everywhere.
Hello? You think I'm in drag for the aesthetics? They're after me. They called me to the office. I didn't know what to do. I saw you guys come in here.
Where did you go yesterday? You tell your parents?
I was home. My mom didn't believe me. She drinks. It was a nightmare. Look, we got to get out of here.
Fucking A.
Let's think for a second. Use our brains.
What I don't understand is why Jefferson? Why now?
If you were going to take over the world, would you blow up the White House Independence Day style or sneak in quietly through the back door?
So what do we do?
Call the on guard or something.
No one's going to believe us. This is insane.
We got to get out of here. We can't just live in the handicapped bathroom till graduation.
In the puppet masters and the body snatchers, you were able to walk amongst them as long as they didn't detect your humanness. If you can hide your emotions and fear, it's possible we can get by them.
And get the fuck out.
Wait a second. What are you talking about? Just because they did it in a book doesn't mean it'll work.
There's gotta be some truth to that shit. You have a better idea?
Let me get this straight. We're depending on a work of fiction to save our lives, our real and breathing lives. Is that what I'm hearing here?
Yeah.
We're dead.
I think there are a couple fuckins in there. I hope everybody drank on those fuckins. I'm keeping you on your word.
I drink on the fuckins, Billy Ray.
Okay. The bathroom door opens and they file out one at a time. They walk coolly and carefully down the corridor. Stan plays team captain, leads the way, turning to them.
Stay calm. If we get separated, meet in the student parking lot. Be cool and don't look panicked.
They file out. They move down the corridor. They pass several students, and suddenly the bell rings and the hallway is soon flooded with people. The four of them move down the hallway in a line, and they spot several students looking calm and cool as they, but others appear normal. Pacey is starting to sweat, as well as the others. Their paranoia is growing. The next bell rings and the hallway begins to clear. They turn a corner and spot a line of students waiting outside the office.
Oh, shit.
Play cool.
They pass Mr. Tate, who walks by them. Hey! He eyes them, starts to stop, but continues on. They approach the students standing in line.
What do we do?
Nothing. Nothing at all. Keep going.
They move by the waiting students. Pacey spots Molly.
Hey, Pacey, did they call you too?
No, not yet.
You going to the game tonight?
Look, Molly, I can't talk right now.
There's Mary Beth.
Hey, Stokely, you nonconformist, you. How you doing?
Get out of the line, Mary Beth.
What?
Don't ask questions. Just follow me.
Oh, this sounds devious.
It is. Come on. It'll be fun.
She obeys.
Don't go in the office. It's not what you think. Trust me. Go home. Right now. I can't explain it to you, but you have to listen to me. Get out of the line and go home.
Pacey pulls on her. She pulls away.
Don't, Pacey.
Your life depends on it.
What are you talking about?
Suddenly, Mrs. Olson appears. Stan nudges Pacey and then moves on. Mrs. Olson approaches, separating Stan and Mary Beth from the others as Stan guides Mary Beth.
This way.
They round a corner, disappearing. Delilah and Stokely turn the other way, leaving Pacey alone. He turns and heads towards Stokely and Delilah. Molly watches their behavior. She notices Mrs. Olson's eye them. It's all very suspicious. Delilah and Stokely and Pacey race down the hallway.
We lost Stan. Wait here. I'm going to circle back.
He said meet him in the parking lot.
Yeah, but just be a second.
Pacey reaches back the way that they came, leaving Stokely and Delilah alone. Stokely spots her locker. She goes to it.
What are you doing?
I'm getting my stuff. I'm not coming back here.
Stokely is at her locker. She starts to open it. Delilah sees Pacey coming back alone. No sign of Stan.
Shit, let's just go.
Stokely sticks her hand into the locker. Stokely's hand as something slips up her sleeve. She jerks her arm away.
What is it?
I felt something.
Where?
There's something on me.
She pulls her jacket off. She rips open the sleeve of her shirt just in time to see the worm-like organism embed itself into her arm, disappearing under her skin. Delilah and Pacey see this.
Oh my God.
Get it off of me.
Pacey, thinking fast, rips her shirt off of her. He looks to Delilah, who looks petrified.
Help me.
Delilah grabs Stokely's arm as Pacey traces it up her arm.
Does it hurt?
I can't feel it. Oh God. Where is it? Get it off of me.
Stokely starts to careen back and forth as if she's about to faint. Her knees buckle and she falls to the floor. Pacey watches as the worm moves just under the surface of her skin, traveling up her arm to her shoulder.
Do something.
Pacey is horrified. The worm travels past her shoulder up to her neck.
It's moving up your spine.
Please. Get it out. It's going to my brain. Pacey, it's going to get me, please.
Pacey takes 2 fingers and tries to stop its movement, holding it in place mid-neck. He presses his fingers together, pinching it.
Give me her bag.
He does.
Now open it and get ready.
He squeezes hard, pressing his fingers together, trapping it, and then it breaks off, moving into 2 worms, like it did in the aquarium earlier.
Shit!
He traps one of the worms and squeezes roughly. The worm erupts through the skin, ripping flesh, flying through the air. It flops right into Stokely's bag. Delilah closes it up. Stokely cries in pain.
There's another.
Pacey follows it up her neck and around her face. It travels up the side of her nose and towards her eye. Pacey traps it in the corner of her eye. He presses hard as it begins to squeeze out of her tear duct. The worm-like feeler curls and wiggles back and forth. Pacey grabs hold of it with his fingers and yanks it, slinging it into the book bag. Delilah zips the bag up as Stokely collapses to the floor.
Oh, God. You okay?
Stokely is a whimpering mess. Duh. Delilah turns around to see Coach Willis and Mrs. Olson at the end of the hall.
Let's go.
Pacey helps Stokely up, half carrying her, dragging her. They move like lightning down the hall and through an exit door. They should have left that scene in the movie.
Right? That's what I was about to say.
Through her eye duct?
That was horrifying.
Eye stuff.
You know what? This seems like a good enough time to remind folks to donate to our charity for tonight, which is the Education Trust. It is a wonderful organization, and we're raising money for them. So you can donate by going to our website, scriptsgonewild.com. Click on the donate tab. It's going to take you directly to their portal. You can donate to them $1, $5, $1,000, whatever you want to give them. Please do, because we will appreciate it. They will appreciate it. And if you don't, baby Jesus is going to cry. For real, y'all.
For real.
Okay, back to the action.
Nate.
From baby Jesus crying to Zeke moving down a hallway towards the parking lot. Class is still in progress. Nearby in a practice field, a little football scrimmage is taking place. The cheerleading team is off to the side practicing their cheers for tonight's game. Zeke eyes them. The cheers seem very unenthusiastic. The football team seems soft and slightly unreal. Zeke watches, not quite sure what is wrong with the picture when someone grabs him. He spins around, and it's good old Mr. Furlong.
Why aren't you in class?
Hey, Mr. Furlong. Well, that's a good question. I wasn't feeling well, and the nurse said I could go home.
You're not feeling well?
Yeah, I think it's a bug going around.
And you saw the nurse?
Yeah. See ya, Mr. Furlong.
Zeke turns away, not looking back. If he did, he would see Mr. Furlong's body shift in the most bizarre way. He lunges towards Zeke, grabbing him, spinning him around, throwing him up against the wall. Zeke is caught off guard. He tries to pull free, but Mr. Furlong has him pinned. Zeke struggles, but then sees Mr. Furlong's face contort a little as little bubbles rise up under his facial skin as if something is crawling underneath.
Fuck!
Zeke freaks. He can't believe what he's seeing. Zeke tries to pull free, but can't. His arms struggle under Furlong's grip. Mr. Furlong brings one hand over his mouth and withdraws something from it. He moves his hand towards Zeke. Something wiggles within his clenched fist. Zeke's hand manages to find its way into his leather jacket. He finds something, a big pen loaded with his drug. With a burst of strength, he breaks his arm free, striking up at Furlong. The big pen comes slamming into Mr. Furlong's face, lodging into his eye. Furlong stumbles back as the pen releases its contents onto Mr. Furlong. A moment, and then Mr. Furlong's body starts writhing and squirming as the drug takes hold. He cries out in a most inhuman way. He spins around, clutching his face. Then he stumbles, first falling to his knees and then collapsing on the. Can we hear that one more time? Oh no! His body goes still.
What the fuck?
Zeke kicks at his body, making sure he's dead. Then he bolts.
Fuck.
In the parking lot. Stan and Mary Beth are in the parking lot when Stokely and Pacey appear with a limping Delilah. Stan jumps to her.
What happened?
We had a little difficulty.
You okay?
For the moment.
Guys, look.
Mary Beth motions to the scrimmage field nearby. They all turn to see the practices start. The entire team, the cheerleaders are all standing, staring at them, watching them.
What is going on? Could someone please tell me what the hell is going on?
Something really wrong is going on here.
This place is fucked.
There's Zeke.
Take my advice, guys. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, can we please go?
Get in.
Zeke, well, that's Zeke's car he's saying get into. They look at each other, not particularly very trusting of him. Pacey looks back to the school. Mr. Tate, Mrs. Burke, and Coach Wilson have gathered by the school walkway. Ha!
Let's go.
He opens the car door. Mary Beth piles in, and then Stan helps Stokely into the back seat. Stan starts to get in when he turns to find Gabe, the new team captain, and a few other team members standing at the edge of the car.
What's up, Stan? Where you going?
We're going to
Get in, Jesus Christ!
We sure could use you, buddy. You sure you don't want to play with us?
Nah, Gabe, but thanks. Go!
Zeke hits the gas. The car peels out, racing out of the parking lot, leaving Usher in the dust. Later, a nice affluent house in the nice part of town. Zeke's car is parked in the driveway. Zeke and the others move across the yard to a converted garage and back. A light clicks on. The garage is not a garage. The first part is more of a carpenter's haven, work table, power tools, etc.
My dad makes shit. And so do I.
Zeke leads them to a back corner, hits another light, revealing a laboratory. Zeke has converted the back of his garage into his own private pharmaceutical company, a table equipped with lab equipment and other materials.
Good Lord.
This is some serious shit.
Where did you get all this stuff?
Most of it came from school.
Where are your parents?
Europe, I think.
Pacey notices a handgun sitting on one of the tables. He motions to the others, and Zeke notices their look.
It's called a gun?
Later, close up on the dead worm, it appears gray and opaque. It's pinned to a lab board. A small scalpel moves into frame, slicing it in two.
Now, careful. In aliens, it had acid blood. You don't want to lose a finger.
Drink on that.
Oh, we're just doing alien, not alien.
Is it just alien?
I thought it was aliens, not aliens.
Said alien. It's aliens, not alien.
What you try to tell us, Coach?
Well,
you're all drinking a little too much.
Will you shut up?
Zeke is fast at work.
It's incomplete.
What do you mean?
This is just part of something else. It's not an individual organism. It can't survive on its own. It's part of a greater organism.
You mean like a bigger worm?
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. It has the ability to replicate, but it must have water.
Isn't the human body composed mainly of water?
They're using us as hosts, drawing us out.
That explains Mrs. Brummel.
Her body was too old. She didn't take.
You okay? How you feeling?
Oakley nods.
Single-celled tissue thrives best in hormonally active organs.
Like that of a teenager?
My drug confused it. The stimulants aggravated the hormones that were functioning for the alien tissue and killed Mr. Furlong.
Zeke picks up the worm with his lab instrument.
See, it has its own cerebral tissue, but it doesn't have a brain. It acts as a translator and can control and manipulate, but to know any more, you would have to find its parent organism.
The queen bee.
Master alien.
It's using the human body as a cavity. It's renovating our insides.
How do we stop it?
Yeah, Stokely, this is your area. How do we stop it?
In theory,
I love theories.
they're all connected. If we kill the master alien, we get all of them in theory.
What happens to everybody else? The ones who've been taken over?
They would be okay. They'd be human again, but this is all dependent on the idea that any of this is true to begin with. I really don't know the rules. I don't know where fact ends and truth begins here.
Then we'll just have to wing it.
What about the police?
No police. They've already gotten to them.
Let's leave town. We could go to Atlanta.
I'm with you.
There's nowhere to go. Don't you see? We've got to stop it or it's going to spread. It took the high school in a day and a half. Give it a week and we'll never outrun it. What if this is going on at high schools everywhere? We have to deal with this. We have to fight.
There's a school in there. Let's drink.
Mm.
When did you become Braveheart?
So how do we stop it? We can't even tell who's alien and who's not.
What if one of us is an alien right now? I mean, how would we know?
Oh shit.
Huh?
How do I know you're really Pacey?
I would know you're really you.
In the Body Snatchers, humans became emotionless. They lost their identity.
I don't think it's that simple. The coach had emotion, but he's usually a real hard ass, you know? But he was different somehow, just too cool, you know?
You mean his behavior seemed slightly odd?
Yeah, they behave normal, but their actions are just missing a mark.
Like a star quarterback who mysteriously quits the football team?
Oh, shit.
What are you doing, Delilah?
I'm just pointing out you're slightly? I'm just pointing out you're slightly. You've been acting really weird the last couple of days.
I'm not an alien. You want to talk slightly odd? I haven't seen you without your contacts or hairspray since, about birth.
I'm incognito.
Look, we'll just have to trust each other.
I'm supposed to trust you? Tell me something, Miss Lesbian. When did you start liking boys?
What?
I see the way you're looking at Stan. When did you start?
What?
I want to hear this with conviction, Clarke.
I see the way you're. No. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not even drinking tonight. Okay. Tell me something, Miss Lesbian. When did you start liking boys?
What?
I see the way you look at Stan. When did you stop muff diving?
She's not a lesbian. That's a hoax.
It's a hoax.
Oh, really? And what about you, Miss Atlanta, who mysteriously showed up out of nowhere on today of all days? What are you doing in Ohio anyway?
My mom and dad died recently. I came here to live with relatives. I didn't have anywhere else to go.
Hey, cool it.
Yeah, but she's got a point.
Yeah.
That's me. Yeah, Zeke, I mean, you seem to know an awful lot about all of this. No offense, but you're not exactly known for your academic achievements.
Neither are you.
This is getting us nowhere.
And Pacey, when did you become Sigourney Weaver?
Could we cool it?
Zeke holds up a drug-fueled Bic pen.
I have a solution. We know this outs them. Take a hit. If you're not alien, you have nothing to worry about.
No way, man. I don't do drugs.
Zeke's right. This is the only way to know for sure.
What are you afraid of, Stan? We all do it.
I'll do it, but I'm not going first.
Pacey?
Why me?
Just take it, Pacey. That's me again, man. Just take it, Pacey.
Pacey takes it and puts it in his nose. He looks to Zeke almost for reassurance. Zeke nods. Pacey takes a giant snort.
Boy.
Pacey tastes it a bit. His eyes bug slightly, and he hands it back to Stan, looking as confused as someone who's taken drugs for the first time.
Next down the line.
To Mary Beth.
I'm sorry. I do not succumb to peer pressure. I do not do drugs. I don't even drink.
I know, Mary Beth, but you have to do it just this once.
What about you, Zeke? How do we... What about you, Zeke? How do we know you're not one of those fucking things?
Drink on fucking.
Oh, Jesus.
I can't get high in my own supply, man.
Fuck you, Zeke.
You're taking it if we're taking it.
Another fuck.
Pacey starts giggling. They all turn to him.
Now what the hell's wrong with him?
Stan stands up, grabs Zeke's gun from the table, and pushes it against Pacey's temple. Not an overreaction at all.
Hey, Zeke, man. This shit's all right.
Nothing's wrong with him. Nothing's wrong with him, you asshole. He's tweaking. Let him tweak.
He aims the gun at Zeke.
Now you.
Zeke puts the pin in his nose and snorts. No immediate reaction. He holds the pin out to Stan.
Your turn.
Stan eyes Zeke for any change in his physical, then snorts the pin powder. He rubs it around in his nose. Zeke motions for Stan to give it back.
Nope, I'm holding on to this.
Zeke snatches the gun away and puts it behind him.
Not while you're tweaking, you're not. Sit down.
He does.
Stokely.
That hack drug will kill us. I'm not putting Clorox up my nose. I'll be dead.
Aliens are taking over the Earth. Weigh it.
And that's an aliens. Stokely. There's nothing I enjoy more than the that comes after a.
Tristan and I are like, oh, maybe this bride.
What's in it? No, what's in it?
Mostly caffeine. Some other household shit. Your basic under the sink ingredients.
Stokely takes the hit. She sucks it in strangely. It pockets itself in her sinus and she can't get a feel for it. She hands the pin to Mary Beth.
Can't take drugs, Zeke. I can't.
It's not addictive, you southern twit.
Stan starts laughing. Delilah takes the pin away from Mary Beth and snorts it hard. She even puts some in the other nostril.
Easy, baby.
Pacey is still giggling in the chair. Stokely doesn't look as comfortable with it. Her face is twitching a bit. She puts her nose to her temple. Zeke pulls another pin out and hands it to Mary Beth.
Trust me, Mary Beth. You won't get hooked on it.
Mary Beth takes the drug and puts it in her nose. She snorts. The sound is loud in Stokely's ear. She puts her hand to her ear to control the sound. Except for Stokely's weirdness, there is no reaction around the room.
Well, I guess we're all off the hook.
Before Delilah can finish her sentence, a fist-like shape punches out from under her skin, contorting her face and bone structure horribly for a half second before snapping back into place. Blood drops freckle Mary Beth and Stokely. Everyone's taken off guard. Was that them tweaking or her reacting? Delilah looks confused as well. She brings her hand to her face, which doesn't sit on her skull like it did before. It's a little fucked up.
What the hell was that?
You missed the baby.
Baby?
Rude, Michael. And my
Delilah grabs Stan's arm for support and feelers pour out of her fingertips from under her nails, ferociously wrapping and slithering around Stan's arms.
Oh, shit!
Fuck!
Zeke turns to get the gun and it's gone. Pan around and Pacey has it in his hands and is backing up, aiming it at Zeke. Eyes as big as saucers. Stokely and Mary Beth fly back out of their seats as Stan is thrashed in their direction. Delilah is starting to look less and less like herself. Stokely tries to tear Stan away from Delilah, but he has him gripped tight.
Shoot it, Pacey! Shoot it in the head!
Pacey turns to the creature and fires at what was once Delilah's head. As it explodes, two more heads sprout next to the last.
Now what?
Zeke takes the gun from Pacey and shoots those heads too. The things hit the ground like a sack of potatoes. It flops around gruesomely. Stokely comes back and dumps a bunch of the powder drug on the creature.
Careful with that. It's all you got.
The drug bores into the carcass, making a sizzling sound as it goes. Everyone watches the body rise and steams. The camera tracks over each of them. And shockingly enough, that's exactly what happens to Jordana Brewster every time that she has to be around Vin Diesel on the Fast and Furious set.
Oh, hey, that's a family, Billy Ray.
Waka waka.
I don't want to disrupt the family. I'm sorry. The garage. Night is quickly falling upon the garage, and lights burn from within. Delilah lays spread out all over the garage floor, still steaming slightly. Stan can't take his eyes off what's left of her. He's beyond upset. Stokely tries to comfort him. Stokely reaches out and strokes his arm. They sit there in silence, and then...
Delilah tried. Her intentions were shit, but she had a plan, you know? She was going somewhere. I really liked her for that. I wonder what it's like to be one of them, not to be human anymore. I wonder if you stop caring about shit, like a future. I wonder if you just dry up and die inside.
I don't know, Stan.
I guess we'll find out. Delilah's probably better off.
He looks at her. Stokely really feels for the guy. She places her hand on his shoulder. Zeke and Mary Beth are busy at a side table, making up a new batch of his hack drug.
I wish I had never come here.
Sorry about your parents. That must be rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mine are kind of dead too. They just keep breathing.
She looks at him, a small smile. She appreciates his attempt at comfort. Mary Beth changes the topic. She pulls a drug-filled Bic pen from her pocket.
Your brain seems overly smart, Zeke. Why did you use it to deal drugs? I mean, why not put it into your schoolwork?
And miss an opportunity to participate in the destruction of America?
Forgive me for being frank, but That's a rather easy and simplistic answer. And something tells me you're just a little smarter than that.
Shit. I don't have enough ingredients for more. That's all we got.
Well, then we'll have to make it count.
Zeke eyes her. He likes this girl. Just then, Stan turns to him.
So, how do we stop it? I want to know how we stop it.
We go search out the queen bee.
How do we do that?
We start at the top.
Principal Drake.
Zeke is looking at his badge. He places it in a book bag and puts it around Mary Beth's back.
We're a little low on this shit. We're gonna have to make it count.
We only need enough for Principal Drake. It's gotta be her.
And you're sure this drug shit will kill her?
If it doesn't, maybe this will.
He brandishes the handgun. The game is nearing its end at the football stadium. The band plays, but the music carries no energy. The cheerleader crowd, but with less enthusiasm. The crowd watches on. The concession stand is in full swing. Clothes on beverages being passed hand to hand. The women's restroom has a line around the building as women wait their turn. One woman is seen exiting. She seems a little dizzy and disoriented. Two little kids are seen playing under the bleachers, and they dig into the dirt. One of them holds up a small slug. A whistle blows. It's the fourth quarter. A player makes a run for the line. The crowd cheers. The announcer follows the play over loudspeakers. Zeke car pulls up in the back of the lot behind the Brun County school bus. Zeke quickly kills the headlights. The fuck you couple are selling sodas to paying customers, and cups are passing hand to hand. One of the little toddlers from under the bleachers comes running up to his mother, sobbing hysterically. He jumps into his mother's arms. On the field, the Patriots are fierce. They race in against Brun County on a pulverizing tackle. It looks ugly. A player from Brun is hurt. He's helped off the field. Coach Willis watches approvingly. He turns to the stands to see Principal Drake watching without question. At the athletic center, Stokely and Stan enter the front doors. They each carry a backpack. They race across the darkened basketball court and they move to the exit doors on the far wall. Opening their bags, they take out locks and chains and they begin to secure the exit doors.
You think this will work?
I'm trying not to think. Being a dumb jock suits me better.
In no way is that true.
Pacey wriggles through a break in the fence, slipping into the stadium unnoticed. He moves under the bleachers, peeking through the slats. Feet stomp. People cheer. Pacey checks it out. He can't see much. He moves for the bleacher entrance. A Patriot nails an opposing player, crashes into him, and throwing him to the ground. The Brun team member starts to get up as the Patriot bends down and slips a slug into his helmet. A slug. God damn it. Player sits up, moving to his feet when he stumbles back suddenly. He drops to the ground unconscious. The medics hit the field again. Pacey appears at the foot of the bleachers and he looks up into the crowd. He spots Zeke and Mary Beth in motion with their eyes. He follows them too. Principal Drake, whose eyes on the game only feet away. Pacey turns away and then, and only then, does Principal Drake turn to Pacey. Her eyes turn cold, that BB Newirth kind of cold. Pacey looks back at Drake's eyes have returned to the game. She watches very cool and controlled. The last play is made. The Patriots score. Just under the clock. The win! The win! The victors! The field begins to break up and everyone begins to go home. Principal Drake turns to see Pacey heading back towards the gym, alone. In the gym, Pacey sprints around the side, his shadow thrown big across the building. Drops of rain begin to pour down. He wipes his face.
Shit.
No, it's rain. Pacey enters, running across center court. He stops and turns to the doorway.
Hey, guys, where are you?
A loud creak as the doors hurt opening and closing. Pacey looks to the entrance. He hears wet shoes squeaking on the hardwood floor.
Guys, I saw her. Drake's at the game.
Actually, I'm right here.
Oh, shit.
Hello, Mrs. Drake.
Hello, Pacey. Are you okay? I was worried about you.
She takes a step forward where the huge net comes flying down on top of her. She immediately starts to fight, but Stokely and Stan appear on either side, wrapping it around her tighter and trapping her. Mary Beth and Zeke enter. They chain and lock the doors behind. Principal Drake lay entangled in a volleyball net. She pulls and twists, trying to break free.
What is going on here?
You tell us. Are all the doors locked?
We're completely locked up. Ain't no one getting in.
Principal Drake has managed to pull herself upright, kneeling position.
Get me out of this. I'll have you expelled.
Stop the act. No one's buying it.
We know who you are.
You're in a lot of trouble. All of you.
Stan pulls out the gun.
No, please. What are you doing? Put that away.
Stan holds the gun up, aiming. Zeke grabs a big pin from Mary Beth's backpack.
Ready?
Yep. Sniff this.
No.
Sniff it or he shoots you.
I will not.
Now what?
We do it the hard way. With Mr. Furlong, I plunged it into his eye and the reaction was instantaneous.
You stick her and then I'll shoot before it erupts all over the place.
Zeke grabs Drake's face, holding it back into the...
Oh my God. What are you doing?
Zeke holds the pen up, ready to go. And Stokely says...
Oh, shoot. Stokely says, what's wrong?
Are we sure?
Yes, we're sure.
Please, Zeke, don't. Are you out of your mind? Oh, God, no. I beg you. No, No!
Principal Drake is in tears.
I thought they were fearless.
No, they are. She's faking.
But how do you know?
Shoot her.
I can't.
Principal Drake begins to rise.
Please, Zeke, don't do this.
She's worked herself completely out of the net. She moves up to Zeke, reaching out for him. Suddenly, Pacey appears next to Stan. He grabs the gun, aims, and fires. The bullet catches Principal Drake right between the eyes. She flies backwards, landing with a thump on the hard floor. A moment.
What if we were wrong?
We'll stab it and find out.
Zeke stares at the pen, then at Drake's lifeless body. He walks over to her body as a pool of blood spreads quickly from behind her head. Zeke is at his feet, wondering what to do.
Do it. It's the only way to find out.
I think we made a mistake. She's dead.
Suddenly, Drake sits up, the hole in her head replaced by long, dancing feelers that have sprouted from her bullet wound. Her eyes are rolled back white. Zeke screams. Mary Beth, acting fast, rips open her book bag. She pulls out the large container of scat, opens it, and pours it out all over Drake. Principal Drake's body erupts in spasms. After a moment, her body goes lifeless.
We got her.
Yes.
Come on, let's check and see if it worked.
They run towards the door. Zeke unlocks it as they file out. The rain is misty. They look towards the football field, which is empty. The last of the crowd can be seen in the distant parking lot as the Brun County school bus pulls out.
This better have worked. There's going to be a lot of infected people heading home.
The rain continues down. In the distance, a figure can be seen moving towards them. Suddenly, the coach comes into view.
I think it worked.
Stan moves in front, meeting up with the coach. Suddenly, a crash of thunder.
Hey, Coach Willis.
Stan, what are you doing here?
The coach stands in the rain like it's nothing. He doesn't even notice.
I came to root you guys on.
The coach's head goes slack. It drops back and his mouth opens. Feelers sprout forth, lapping up the water, drinking the water, just like you're going to do.
Might miss another line.
It is a hideous and sickening sight. He backs up to the others. They see it too. Suddenly more emerge from the coach's eye sockets, nose and mouth. Long stingers that slap about the face, thriving in the downpour. Suddenly Mrs. Olsen and Mr. Tate appear behind him. Hi! He appears disabled as if the rain is taking control of them. Then the feelers disappear and he turns to Stan.
Move it!
The five of them take off running. They race inside, slamming the door shut. Zeke and Stan work together, securing it with lock and chain.
We're going to need reinforcement.
Stokely and Mary Beth look through the small glass window in the door. Coach Willis and Mr. Tate, Mrs. Olsen, and others approach the gym. They move with assured confidence.
If it wasn't Miss Drake, who?
It must be Coach Willis.
It must. How do you know? Shit, we don't know anything.
Stan appears with metal rods.
Found these.
Pacey helps him. They slide through the door handles, barricading themselves.
We should check all the doors. They're going to try to get in.
Stokely, come with me. You guys take the pool. Pacey, stay here.
The others disappear, leaving Pacey alone in the foyer of the gym. He looks around the window. Nothing. The faculty has disappeared. Bam! A tentacle face comes crashing against the window. Pacey leaps back. It's Mrs. fucking Olsen. Slithering and horrific, the face slides out of view. Stokely and Stan are in the pool room, a completely separate and isolated section of the gymnasium. They check the exit doors, locked and secured. They move to a small office door. Zeke and Mary Beth are stopped the wooden bleachers. They're atop the wooden bleachers, checking the steel-wired windows that line the walls. They look out into the football field. Coach Willis is seen conferring with Mr. Tate. They stand, soaking up the rain. Mary Beth is chilled to the bone. She moves in close to Zeke. His arms find their way around her.
Look at them. They're feeding.
They're getting stronger.
Pacey stands alone in front of a trophy case and a thump behind him. He spins around, peering into the dark gym.
Who's there?
A moment, and then Stokely and Stan appear. Zeke and Mary Beth right behind them. Zeke moves to the door, keys in hand.
I think there's some scat in my car.
Are you sure?
No, but it's worth checking.
I'll go with you.
Me too.
No, you're better off here. I'll be back.
You're gonna take off and leave us, aren't you?
No, fuck.
There's the fuck.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah.
But if they get me, they'll only get me. You guys will still have a chance.
We'll all go. We'll fight.
Don't let your newfound Braveheart skills make you stupid.
No, we stay. Zeke's right. There's no telling what's out there. He can move better alone.
Zeke unhooks the door chain locked while Stan pulls the metal auto ray. Zeke cracks the door, turning back to Mary Beth.
See you soon, Mary Beth of Atlanta.
Mary Beth of Atlanta, Georgia. Go, Georgia. And with that, Zeke's gone. The door slams shut. Pacey and Stan re-secure it as Mary Beth calls after them.
Be careful, Zeke.
Parking lot. Zeke races through the drenching rain and he looks about. There's no sign of anyone anywhere. He crosses the pavement to his car and slips inside. Inside the car, he revs it up and suddenly something stops him. He looks through the rearview mirror, realizing someone could be in the back seat.
Fuck.
Drink. He doesn't want to, but he turns around and lifts up slowly, creeping up, looking into the back seat. It's empty. He takes a breath, the ultimate fake scare. He turns back around, shifts gear, and peels out. The others move about the gym entrance, fidgety and tense.
He won't be back.
Yes, he will.
I hope.
A thump is heard from the darkness of the gym. They all turn and Stan races in and the others follow. Shadowed light filters in through the windows high in the gym walls. All is deathly quiet, except for the rain pelting down outside and Stan motions with the girls.
Stay here. Pacey, take that side.
Stan and Pacey split up, each taking a side of the gym. Pacey as he moves to the electric wooden bleachers that line the wall. He moves to their edge, peering under them. It's frighteningly dark, a jungled mash of metal support beams.
Hello? Who's there?
Suddenly a figure emerges, moving into the light. It's Molly?
Molly?
She moves out into the open, a look of pure terror.
Please don't hurt me.
It's me, Pacey.
She runs into his Elijah Wood arms.
Oh, Pacey, what's going on?
Suddenly Stan appears, yanking Molly from him, throwing her to the ground.
Watch out. She could be one.
No, I'm not. Please, Pacey, tell him.
Pacey wants to believe her.
I'm sorry, Molly.
And they kill her. No, okay. Molly sits on the floor while Stan ties her hands behind her back. Stokely holds the gun on her. Molly cries uncontrollably.
You make one alien move and your fireworks. You got it?
Do we have to do this?
We can't take any chances.
I know her. Okay, this is really her.
And when Zeke gets back with the drug, we'll test her. Okay, what are we gonna do? Just stay in this gym forever?
You got a better idea?
Zeke will be back.
In the parking lot, Zeke walks amongst rows and rows of school buses. He keeps looking behind him, watching his back, and the rain has stopped, but the night wind whistles between the buses. It's very creepy. Suddenly, he hears footsteps. He looks down under the buses and sees nothing, and he spots the car, moves to it, goes straight for the trunk, pops it open, looks inside, withdraws his big pins, and it's better than nothing. He pockets them when he hears voices. He turns, looks at the end of the school bus. A couple are fighting. He moves closer, coming from a scuffle between Mr. Tate and Miss Harper. Yeah. He has her pinned to the side of the bus. She screams in terror. Zeke moves for her. It's obvious Mr. Tate is in the process of converting her. I'm gonna get you. He races to help. Zeke comes upon the struggle. He throws Mr. Tate off Mrs. Harper. And grabs her by the arm. She looks up, surprised.
Zeke?
Hurry!
Zeke grabs her and they move to his car. He throws open the door. Miss Harper jumps in, followed by Zeke just as Mrs. Olsen appears. She grabs Zeke. He wrenches her off him. He hops in, starts it up, turns to see Olsen recovering. His window is open. He begins to roll it up.
Hurry, Zeke. She's coming.
Zeke hits reverse and begins as the windows roll up, but Olsen manages to thrust her hand in at the last moment. The glass catches Mrs. Olsen's hand, closing on it. Her fingers get pinched in the window just as the car springs backwards. Mrs. Olsen's fingers are snipped off by the window, dropping to the floor of the car. Don't know if that would happen, but okay. Miss Harper screams.
Fuck!
Drink! Zeke spins the car around and heads back the way he came. Miss Olsen stands there, watching them go, nursing her fingerless hand, thin feelers whipping out in the knuckle slots. Zeke careens the car out of the parking lot and down the school driveway entrance.
You okay?
Fingers under the seat, spoiler. The fingers under the seat sprout feelers and become worm-like. Miss Harper's hysterical.
What's going on, Zeke?
We've been invaded by aliens.
Drink.
Ugh. Oh, God.
What?
I know it sounds nuts, but we have to find the mother alien and kill it.
Can I help?
Miss Harper's voice is soft and quite calm. Zeke, confused, turns to a demonic Mrs. Harper just as she comes flying at him, arms outstretched. Zeke speeds up as Miss Harper lashes into him, her hands finding his throat. The car rips through the assorted signage roadside. The car goes into a tailspin as Zeke fights off Miss Harper. She comes at him fast and focused, and he slams her back against the seat. Miss Harper recovers, looking very prim and poised, a smile invading her lips.
You want me, Zeke. You know it.
She comes at him again, mouth wide open, a worm protruding from it. Zeke panics, slams on the brakes, sending Miss Harper crashing out the windshield and over the hood. She tries to hang on, but slides off the hood and is crushed under the tires. He screams as he realizes he has worms crawling up his legs. He turns him out the window. He's driving silently now, catching his breath. He hears something and turns the radio off. The car is making a strange knocking sound. It sounds as if something is stuck to the tire. It's hard to control the car. It's getting worse. He has to pull over. He does. He slides the car into park, glances out the windows, and then opens the door, glances to see if there's anything there, reaches for a flashlight, looks around, nothing there, keeps on looking. And then there it is. Miss Harper's headless body standing in front of him, lit sickly by the white-hot headlights. Flash past her as she headlessly watches him scream past, her fingers streaking blood across his window as she goes, leaving her to wander headless in the night. Stokely and Stan are in the pool area. Stan double checks the exit door to make sure it's secure. It's not. He then moves back to Stokely, who stands next to the pool. The water glistens against their faces, but they don't drink it.
So tell me, in these books you read? Invasion of the Puppet Snatchers and the Body.
The body snatchers, puppet masters.
Yeah, okay. What happens, Stokely? How do they defeat the aliens in the books? Maybe we can try the same thing. So far, they seem right on target. Is there like some kind of basic sci-fi thing we're forgetting to do that will easily wipe out these aliens? What happens in the books?
There was another one.
That's another aliens.
We drink and then they get us. We become them. They win. We lose.
Quitting football doesn't seem like such a big deal anymore, does it?
Stokely moves close to him. A certain sexuality exists between them. Stokely grabs Stan and kisses him long and hard, years of passion existing in her lips. They break apart and Stan looks at her, pleasantly stunned.
I just don't want to never have done that.
At the gym entrance, Molly sits tied and bound near the front door. She is alone and trying desperately yet quietly to loosen her straps. Pacey and Mary Beth waited out atop the bleachers. They sit quietly with each other. Pacey is turned away from Mary Beth, sitting several rows down, sprawled out along the bleacher.
God, I am so over this.
Too.
No, I'm really over this.
They're gonna get us, aren't they? Aliens in high school.
Drink.
Oh.
2 drinks.
Oh, that's right. Oh, good catch.
All this time, I thought the only alien was me.
And that's the finish your drink line.
Yeah, perfect timing.
One. Is it cheating that I do a shot?
Finish your drink line.
That was upsetting.
What?
Where's my water? Okay.
I know the way people see me. I know how I see myself. I'm that guy. There's one of me in every school.
Drink.
Class.
Jeez.
I got caught picking my nose in the first grade, and I've had to live with it for the last 8 years of my life. I'm the guy whose sole purpose is to let all the others feel better about themselves.
Not any of those things, Pacey. You don't have to be.
And what happens when the aliens get you?
Drink.
You have to
Oh, God.
become someone new? Do you lose who you are? I've always hated who I am. Maybe the alternative is not just a bad thing.
Maybe.
He seems to have a reversal effect. Maybe he can do the same for me.
No one sees you worse than you see yourself.
Pacey breaks from his intensity. He looks to the exit door, suddenly puzzled.
How come they're not coming in?
What do you mean?
They could get in here if they really wanted to. How come they're not coming in?
Maybe because they're already in.
Something is strange about Mary Beth's responses. Maybe it's the fact that she has completely lost her southern accent. Pacey turns to her just as a huge, grotesque tentacle whips out at him in a lightning move, striking him, sending him tumbling down the bleachers. He lay hurt and stunned, looking up to see Mary Beth. Her left arm is no longer an arm. It's been replaced with a huge, hideous tentacle.
No.
He watches in horror as Mary Beth transforms. Her body begins to shiver a moment. As feelers begin to seep from her mouth, her eyes, every orifice as her head begins to bulge, her neck stretching, elongating as her mouth opens wide, wider, giving away to something else. From her mouth comes a bulbous matter. Suddenly her whole body begins to gyrate and differentiate as her 2 arms stretch forward, joining her legs as they push out and redefine themselves. Her skin changes shape, color, texture. It becomes gray, opaque. Mary Beth's head disappears in the neck of the thing, giving way to its new incarnation. A rounded head with a huge mouth with stickly feelers that slap about it. A fold of skin lifts, revealing 3 piercing eyes. The neck expands, then subsides, attached now to its new body, a torso connected to 4 worm-like legs. Pacey watches in horror silence as the creature takes a step towards him. It moves like a spider, scurrying down the bleachers. One of the thing's tentacles lengthens, stretching out and whipping up to the ceiling to the rafters above the court. It wraps around a beam and pulls. The thing, like lightning, disappears into the rafters. Pacey stands staring up, terrified. He watches as it bolts through the rafters, swinging from beam to beam. Pacey bolts. He immediately sees Molly sitting on the floor, still tied up.
Pacey, what's happening?
He runs to her, rips loose her bindings.
It's coming. It's fucking Mary Beth. She's the mother.
And drink on fucking. Molly looks to the doors that lead to the gym and she hears this loud noise. Pacey races to the door, slams against him, and Molly, now free, joins him.
Where are the keys?
Fucking Zeke has them.
Drink again.
Oh, God.
What do we do?
We gotta find the others.
Pacey, I'm scared.
Come on.
The gym is deadly quiet and dark. The thing could be anywhere. Suddenly, thump behind them. Melly turns to see something rushing her. A basketball comes bouncing out at her from the darkness, and she screams. Then another comes at Pacey. It rolls eerily by him, and they stand there tense and frightening. Another ball comes. This is Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious. Oh! It hits Pacey, knocking him to the ground, sending sliding across the floor. Molly moves to him, reaching down to help him up. A large tentacle whips out of the darkness, grabbing her and yanking her entire body back to where it came. It happens so fast and sudden that there isn't time for Pacey to register what even happened. Only when he hears a final defining scream erupt from Molly does he know. Pacey jumps to his feet, wasting no time. He peels out, racing down a long hallway that leads to other parts of the athletic center. At the pool area, Stokely and Stan hear a noise. They stop in their tracks. It's a slight rumbling from above.
What was that?
They look above when suddenly an explosion erupts above them. The sound of splintering wood and crushing brick, then movement above them. They look up to the dark rafters that comprise the room's ceiling. They can hear something traveling, moving above them.
What is it? Jesus, Stan, what is it?
I think it's it. Just it.
Stokely and Stan stand, paralyzed, petrified. The camera pans to Stan, to Stokely, then back to Stan, then to Stokely, then back again. Only this time Stan is gone. He's just vanished.
Oh my God. Stan? Stan!
It's as if he disappeared into thin air from above. Stan's body falls, hitting the floor with a sickening thud. Stokely screams, running to him. Stan is dead, his body crushed. Stokely looks down in horror as more noise comes from above. Then an enormous splash from the swimming pool. She turns to the pool and the water rocks and then stills.
Oh my God. No!
She runs to the exit door. She turns and beats on the door. It's chained and locked. It won't budge. Suddenly, something grabs her, spinning her around. She screams to find Pacey, horrified.
We gotta get out of here.
How?
The move back toward the pool. Stokely doesn't notice the tentacle that slowly stretches across the swimming pool, inching towards her, circling her ankle until it yanks, pulling her by the leg, dragging her into the swimming pool. She screams, thrashing about, coming up, looks up to Pacey, then behind her. A huge splash is heard as the alien enters the pool with her. Stokely treads in the center of the pool.
Hurry! Swim, Stokely!
Stokely starts for the ladder. She moves, terrified, not knowing where the alien lurks below her. She almost makes it to the side when Stokely is completely dragged under and Pacey races to the side.
Stokely!
A moment, then Stokely's head pops up in the middle of the pool. She's gagging and coughing, treading water. She looks about her, no sign of the thing.
Swim!
Pacey looks about. He spots a barrel of pool chlorine against the wall and goes for it. Stokely makes a break for it and arms move around as fast as she can, but she's having difficulty. The water appears thick as long feelers have sprouted and taken over the pool. Stokely is terrified as she realizes this is very much like the aquarium in biology. She reaches the ladder at the side of the pool and she steps in, crawling out when a huge tentacle appears, wrapping itself around her. She holds onto the ladder for dear life. Pacey runs to her aid, his arms outstretched, ripping open the chlorine container, slinging it. God damn it. Sending it flying into the pool. He reaches for Stokely just as the alien goes crazy, writhing and splashing around in the pool. Large ocean waves wish about. Stokely lies beside the pool unconscious and Pacey moves to her.
Stoke, come on, Stoke.
She starts to move. She lifts up, immediately terrified.
We gotta get out of here.
He helps her to her feet when the alien lunges out of the pool and back of the rafters. It moves about them.
Run.
They split up, going in different directions. Pacey spots the coach's office while Stokely makes a break for the locker room. Stokely races through the locker room, past rows and rows of lockers. She reaches a corner, a dead end. She stops where she hears a creak, the sound of the locker room door opening. She hears footsteps. Stokely goes dead silent, listening. She sees a shadow appear alongside a row of lockers. The shadow appears to be a human figure.
Hello?
Stokely steps out.
Zeke, over here.
Zeke comes forward, a scat pen in his hand. He looks to Stokely when Mary Beth appears behind him.
Watch out. It's her.
Zeke whips about. He's standing directly between the two of them. He looks back to Stokely.
No, don't believe her. It's her. She's the one.
She attacked me. She killed Stan. Please, Zeke.
Mary Beth is nude, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
Please, Zeke. It's her.
Zeke stands between the two, not knowing what to trust. He whips back and forth between the two.
She's lying. She's trying to fake you out. We don't know what she is. Gay, straight, alien?
Answer me something, Mary Beth. Why are you naked?
Good question.
Does it bother you, Zeke? My body? I'm getting kind of used to it myself. Poor Mary Louise Hutchinson. She was all alone. She lost her parents. I identified with her completely. Her world had collapsed in Atlanta and she was looking for a new home. Very much like me. I really like my new body, Zeke. Do you like it? Oh, you must. You ruined it for everyone, Zeke. I mean, when you gave me the fake drug test, well, that was sweet of you to bond with me. It was so typical of your species. So smart, but utterly incompetent. Will it work again, Zeke? Do you like what you see?
Zeke can't stop but staring at Mary Beth's breasts as she runs her hand along them, tracing them sensually. She takes a step towards him.
You fucking stay back.
Drink.
Don't you want me, Zeke? I can feel your hormones pulsating. Even in your worst moment of fear, you can't control them. They have a life of their own.
Zeke moves back towards Stokely. Mary Beth is gone.
I told you.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
Drink.
Oh.
Not so fast.
Just then, Stokely rips forward, mouth agape, a worm protruding from it. Stokely's body lunges forward when Pacey appears from behind, grabbing her, sending her body slinging into a wire equipment cage. He leaps on the door, locking it. Inside, Stokely goes berserk, her body writhing about, back and forth. God damn it. Clawing at the cage. Feelers have half sprout all over her body. She looks hideous. Zeke turns to Pacey.
Come on. Let's get Mary Beth.
Zeke holds up the Bic pen.
Take it.
He does.
No, sniff it.
You're out of your mind. And I need mine.
No, I'm not taking any fucking chances. I leave for 5 minutes and everyone's a fucking alien.
That's 2.
Now, if I have to Men in Black your ass, you're gonna fucking sniff this.
And that's a 3rd.
Again.
He does. He takes it.
God damn it.
Suddenly, a noise from the other side of the locker.
Shit, she's back.
They move down the row of lockers, not seeing the shadow against the wall. It is Mary Beth's shadow, but not for long. The shadow changes shape. It goes from the feminine figure of a young woman to the hideous, grotesque creature in seconds, remnant of Kellyanne Conway. Pacey and Zeke move down a row of lockers when they hear something moving around them.
Where is it?
I don't know.
Pacey turns to look around, but feeling groggy.
Jesus. I'm fucking seeing 2 of everything.
Great.
Oh.
Zeke?
Pacey moves around the corner of the lockers and he shakes his head trying to find sobriety when Zeke's body comes flying at him. They go slamming into the locker, sliding into the floor, and Pacey jumps up to see Zeke's limp body on the floor. He leans down, checks Zeke out.
Come on, buddy, get up.
Suddenly, a sweet Georgia accent fills the locker room.
Where are you, Pacey? Oh, poor Pacey. The class wuss, loser. His little penis taped on the wall for all to see. I can change all that, Pacey. You never have to be afraid again. Think about it. A life without fear, a society without guns and violence and drugs. It'll be a perfect world. Fearless.
But you're afraid. That's why you're here, isn't it? You didn't want to be alone anymore, did you?
Please, Pacey, be my new family.
No. I'd rather be afraid.
Really? Is that what you want? To go back to your poor, pathetic high school existence? Let me change all that. Let me give you a new life.
I can take care of my old one fine. Thank you.
Then have it your way.
Pacey listens. He starts out when he sees the creature's shadow move against the locker. He falls to his knees trying to hide, waiting. He watches in silent horror as the creature's neck elongates and its head rises up and over the entire row of lockers. The thing knows he's there. Its eyes pierce him. Pacey looks up, sees it, and then bolts, shooting for the locker room door. Pacey moves down a row of lockers and he sees Zeke's body slumped in a heap on the floor. He goes to him, spots the big pen and grabs it when he hears an enormous, monstrous wail echo through the locker room. Pacey stops in his tracks, leaning against the equipment cage, just like that. Suddenly, something grabs him from behind. It's Stokely, still trapped in the cage.
He's over here.
Pacey tears through the locker room door and into the gym. Pacey comes bolting out of the locker room door and he doesn't look back when the locker room door bursts apart at the creature's touch. Pacey bolts, moving across the basketball court. He turns to see the thing slithering across the floor. One of his tentacles slings forward, wrapping itself around Pacey's leg and reeling him in. Pacey slides across the floor, kicking and screaming. He loses the big pen as it drops to the floor. His hands flail about as he tries to recover it. His body squirms like a fish until the creature stands over him. Pacey lies directly underneath the creature, its 4 legs on every side of him, caging him in. The creature's head appears on his snake-like side, twisting under and moving close to Pacey's face. The creature is face to face with Pacey. Its slimy feelers slap about, grazing his cheeks. Its mouth opens as its 2 long worm-like tongues slip out. Pacey's eyes the creature's torso, its belly where the skin is so translucent you can see through it. Thousands of small slugs swim about, some breaking the surface of the skin, then diving back under like dolphins into the ocean. Oh, what a beautiful image. Several fall into Pacey. They disappear inside the clothing. Pacey finds the big pen. He brings it up to the creature's eye, but the creature dodges. Pacey misses. The slugs are invading Pacey's body. He can feel them. He starts screaming and writhing about, and Pacey rolls away from the Pacey stands up tight and runs, picking up the slugs embedded in his skin. The creature charges at Pacey, tearing at him, and Pacey eyes the bleachers. He goes for them, diving under them, hitting the electric lever on the wall as he goes. Kaboom! The electric bleachers bend and close, recoiling up underneath each other. Under the bleachers, Pacey runs through the maze of metal that compromises the underlining of the bleachers. He sprints, dodges the steel braces as they snap flat across him. He looks behind him to see the creature right behind him, trafficking the folding bleachers as well. Pacey runs the length of them, trying to get to the other side before they close completely. The bleachers are almost completely gone. Space is tight. Pacey leaps in the final jolt of adrenaline. He makes it, flying, smashing into the gym wall. He turns to see the thing just as the last bleacher snaps closed, smashing the creature flat. Only its head escapes, stretching forward, coming at Pacey, who meets it dead center with the big pin, embedding it with warrior force right into the creature's middle eye. The creature goes mad, its head convulsing and shaking, an unfathomed scream erupting from its mouth. A long moment as the creature finally, just like that. A long moment as the creature finally comes to a still, dead. Pacey looks down. The slugs on his body fall away, dead too. Pacey stares a long, hard moment until he's completely satisfied the creature is dead. Then he rises to his feet. He goes racing towards the locker room, and in there he moves to the equipment cage, looks down to see Stokely lying on the floor unconscious, a dead slug lay at her nostril. Pacey knocks it, moves it aside, and touches her.
Oh.
Jesus. Pacey, is it over?
Yeah. You okay?
I think so. You can't feel them, Pacey. When they're in you, you can't feel them. You don't know that they're there.
They hug. A body comes crashing against the cage. Pacey and Stokely scream in terror, and they look up to see Zeke in pain. Pacey smiles, happy to see him. They all share a moment, looking at each other.
Is it over?
Yeah, it's over. We won.
But how do you know for sure? I mean, in the book, we didn't win.
I think it's time to read another book.
Yeah, I'm with him. Change genres. A nice Danielle Stale or Judith Krantz.
Zeke helps him out of the cage, and they move out of the locker room. Stokely stops them.
I had it in me, and I didn't know it. I mean, how would we know?
If you don't know, what does it matter?
They look at each other intensely. Zeke's last words echoing. Back at school! Another school day! Students come and go. The school is alive and well. The camera comes on two girls waiting in line in the water fountain.
I am so sick of those reporters hanging around.
Ugh, when are they gonna find a new story? I mean, they have milked our little high school massacre to death.
Tell me about it.
The boy is leaning down at the fountain, lapping up water, drinking the water.
Oh.
Hey, Pacey, your fan club's outside again.
Network or local?
He's so cute.
Pacey smiles, moving on. He sees Molly at her locker. He comes up behind her, grabs her, spins her around, plants a huge kiss on her lips, and she returns it.
Hey, Molly, want to catch a movie tonight?
Sure.
She looks at him deep and hard. Pacey moves in to kiss her again.
Great. I'll see you later.
He turns, moving down the hallway, saying hello to different students as he goes. Molly just watches him, her face intense, questionable, close on Pacey's face. It's very different now, stronger, more confident, fearless even. He continues down the hallway and blackout. Wow, what a different script than the movie.
Oh, yeah. So different.
Very different.
Justice for Molly.
Right.
Justice for Molly. Someone was like, you don't need that many women in the movie.
Right.
Where is it?
It's a couple.
Yeah, they maxed
She's
out.
in the final scene and they wrote her out. Like, how?
And he ends up dating Delilah, right? Which was
Yeah.
upsetting because she was very mean to him.
The entire time.
Hey, nothing I've ever been a part of has been worse by adding Molly.
Lies.
Wait. Billy Ray, I need to talk about your choice to play Mr. Tate as Paul Lynde.
Yes.
I play
was
every
you.
role. It's a running thing
Inspired.
now. Anytime I read any role ever, I read it as Paul Lynde.
It was amazing.
He has
I was
made-
very taken, yeah.
He's made many appearances. I can't wait to read Charlotte's Web. I can't wait to read Charlotte's Web so I can cast someone else to read Templeton and I can read all the stage direction as Paul Lynde.
Paul Lynde, yeah.
Lots of popcorn, cotton candy, Mel and Ryan.
Wow, that was the faculty, everybody. Did everybody forget that democracy is crumbling?
Thanks.
Yeah, apparently.
Drink.
people died,
Every
not just
time
one.
democracy falls, take a drink.
Oh, no.
Did we get a
Perpetual
25th Amendment
blackout.
while we were reading this? Or
No, but we found
Oh,
out
no.
4 people died, not just one.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
What'd you say? Wait, what'd you say?
Wait, what?
Apparently 4 people died, not just one.
What?
Oh, shit.
Three were medical emergencies that apparently didn't go well.
Oh wow. Well, that's terrible news.
There you go, everybody.
Wow. What a horrible ending.
Look, honestly, maybe alien replicants, not so bad.
Seriously, I feel like there's a lot of synchronicity with what happened today with this. You know, it was pod people that tried to overtake the Capitol. Basically, if you believe in QAnon,
You're a pod person.
pretty much.
You're a pod person. I think we can. I think we can say. Well, you know what? I think it's only fair that we close out. So I'm gonna propose a final toast before I do the final plug. So a toast to all the folks actually trying to not thwart democracy tonight.
Yes.
I have very little to ever cheer Congress about, but the fact that they're actually doing this tonight and going through with it, and that the Pope made all that happen. Cheers to them tonight. They deserve it.
Give me a second.
So coming up on January 20th, that'll be our next read. We are doing the cult classic and one of the greatest movies ever made, the Octavia Spencer joint, Ma.
Yeah.
We have an amazing cast for that. We've got Emmy nominee Kelly Ginreddy from Handmaid's Tale, who is going to be reading Ma, and we're very excited about that. Mr. Keller there is going to be in that read as well, I believe. And he's the one who proposed that read. He and Chris Devlin, they're the one who are like, you got to read Ma.
Well, luckily here at Scripts Gone Wild, they never let you drink alone. So.
That's right. But we're very excited about Ma. Clay, what's coming up on the Screen Drafts podcast that you are the host of?
Oh, thank you, Billy Ray. Yeah, Screen Drafts is the podcast I host. It's a show where people competitively collaborate in creating the.
I'm a fan, by the way. I'm just gonna say it.
I'm sorry, Mark?
I'm a fan, by the way. I'm jumping.
Oh, thank you.
And according to Entertainment Weekly, it's one of the best podcasts of the year.
What?
Oh, shit.
Weekly has the best.
That.
Yes, and that is thanks entirely to you, Billy Ray and Clarke, who have been on the show. This week, we have Morgan Peter Brown from the Dungeon Run and Ben David Grabinski, who wrote and directed the upcoming movie Happily, and they are drafting the filmography of Tony Scott.
Feelings about
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, Mark, Mark looks invested. Yeah, it's we recorded it the other night. It's a barn burner. So it's an exciting one.
I'm gonna ask you questions when we're done.
I'm excited for that one. And also a shameless self plug. I am starting a podcast. The first episode drops Friday at 8 a.m. It's called Movies with Gravy, because movies are great, but they're better with gravy. And you can get it wherever podcasts are. You can you can find us on the socials at Movies with Gravy and give it a shot. Our first episode is we've got the delightful Drea Clarke, who is coming on, and we're discussing the movie Paint and the films that inspired it. And it's a delightful time. I'm very happy with it. Also, you can find us all over the socials at Scripts Gone Wild. You can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Scripts Gone Wild. And we have merchandise right now. And I'm going to make Joni do some merch pimping right now, because she's got the t-shirt. She got the you can get them in all sorts of different colors. And she also has her mug as well. And you can go to our website, scriptsgonewild.com, click on the merch tab, get your Scripts Gone Wild merch, folks, and drink in style. Why the fuck not? And you know what, guys? Now's the time when we're going to take our group shot here on the Zoom. So I'm going to count to 3, and everybody getting their wonderful post-read pose. Chad's video went off, so that doesn't bode well.
Oh no! I pressed the wrong button. I was sorry. I was changing my background.
I'm glad that the read was good to you.
No, I appreciate you telling me that. Thank you.
I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. That's wonderful. I'm going to count to 3, and then I want everybody to give one final closing word to the people at home. 1, 2, 3.
Feelers.